I'm freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men in power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a dream. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom. Here we go, guys and girls. Welcome to another Love, Guns, and Freedom. Today is Sunday, of course, and my name is luca-zanna. I'll be your host. As you know, every Sunday I try to bring you always new ideas, more important, new information that hopefully can give you the education to make your own decision. Yes, without knowledge, there is no power. Of course, knowledge, in my opinion, must be followed by action. But the idea that whoever controls the knowledge in centuries, since the beginning of history, the elite always wanted to control the knowledge because their masses would be easier to control. Nothing really changed since the time of the Egyptians or the Romans or any other empire. Whoever is in control of knowledge can dominate, even just with a small, minority, can dominate the rest of the population. Now, where am I going? Last year, I had an incredible guest that I really was happy to have here. Remember, this is a local radio show, KTOX 1340 AM. Of course, now also we rebroadcast on 104.1 FM. And of course, we have, through the internet, many, many more listeners. But at the end, it's just a local show. And when I have international guests like him, like last year I had, it's really good because I really want to bring you this type of guest to give you a little wider opinion or even view what's going on around the world. This is not just anymore about Arizona or Mojave County or Needles, California or Laughlin, Nevada. This is about now what's happening around the world to a free humanity. So I have here the honor to have with me a guest that is not just a regular guy like me. He's somebody that has been an insider at different levels, in different situations, in different, let's say, societies. And he's also a book author. He had more than 18 books, I guess. I bought a few of them, and I'm still reading them, by the way. And he's from Rome, the city where I was born. And, of course, where I was, where I left. And his name is Leo Zagami. By the way, now I'm glad because my accent is not going to be anymore my British accent alone, but I'm going to have Leo with his British accent. I've been sarcastic here with me. Leo, are you there?
Hello, everybody. Pleasure being with you again, Gianluca. And I hope that our listeners will enjoy our different form of English with our maybe accent being not the usual you get, of course, on American radio. But I hope that the concepts that we will put through today will reach you loud and clear, nevertheless.
Yes, by the way, last interview was very powerful. Even with, sometimes, as I said, our accent is not exactly the easier to understand. But by the way, we received some compliments. I couldn't believe it on YouTube. People like it somehow. I couldn't believe it. But more important, the message, the information that you were displaying and were trying to share, that was very important. So this is about knowledge. It's about what's going on behind the scenes. Because, we've always been given the first line of knowledge. That means mostly they're lies, like we've proven right now with the media. Now, you are a book author, but you're more than just a book author. You are part of... I want you to tell them, who are you? Who is Leo Zagami, briefly, before we start into more specific questions? Who are you?
Well, I'm somebody who was born, let's say, in a very creative setup and also in a very particular background. And because of this, I guess I was privileged to have access to certain kind of information, to a certain kind of reality later on in life. I am nowadays a writer, as you said before. I'm also, though, a grandmaster of a Masonic order, and I preside over what is known as the good side of the Illuminati, at least here in Italy. And I try to bring out of the closet of this reality, which is very hermetic, some truths, and with my books making them more clear to also those people who are not necessarily initiated in some secret or an esoteric cult that can be sometimes very complex and also not reachable for everybody. So I try to make this inside knowledge a little bit more open, but of course respecting the sacrality of all this information and putting it through with the respect it deserves. So I think I'm doing a different kind of book altogether. Yesterday, or actually a couple of days ago, I was guested by a friend of mine called Chris Everard on his radio show, and we were talking. I have been also on his TV, Enigma TV, where I produce different documentaries, and we talked about the importance of these books, because these books come from somebody with an inside knowledge, which is not usually found out there, because you have the conspiracy theories, but most of these researchers are people who simply are viewing this reality from the outside. This is brings you, of course, only part of the truth. You can never understand the whole prospect and also the inside game, because you have to have an understanding, a knowledge, and years of study to understand the initiation into the real Illuminati, also the dark side of these secret societies, why they're doing it, who is really behind them. Now, in volume 1, which we discussed the last time I was on your radio show, I kind of described the whole topology, the whole structure, hierarchy of these secret societies, while instead in volume 2 I started to explain to the public what is happening right now in this moment of great tribulation, this time of revelation, which is of course for some in Judeo-Christian setups the end of times. Mm-hmm. And this scenario of course coincides with all sorts of catastrophic events. And now it's the dawn also of a new era which will follow all this destruction and this pain. So we are in a moment of tribulation, but later on, hopefully, the good side will prevail eventually. At the moment, the evil side is prevailing, but is prevailing because they have in their hands most of the materialistic realm, and Satanism, Hollywood, and the Illuminati is a chapter of volume 2 of my Confessions, which is particularly important, and I think it's particularly important nowadays when we saw with the election of Donald J. Trump, the great opposition that is coming from Hollywood and their Illuminati and all the satanic lot, which is really trying to come together, even in the open, attacking the new president, which of course is continuing in his program, in his mission, which we hope will go very well for him, also here from Europe, from Italy.
Let me ask you something, Leo. Let me ask you something. First of all, this is something fascinating. Even I've been reading your books, at least some of your books, and I've tried to study about this. But I always have this question. Probably you may say, that's $1 million question, maybe $1 trillion question, but I need to ask it to you anyway. And I know probably you would, a year on the show, it wouldn't be enough to explain it. Probably you could never explain it anyway. But the question is, and you say what you can, what is really the purpose of an organization like the Illuminati in 2017, in this century? What is exactly the purpose? Is the same purpose there was when it was created? And according to your knowledge, when was really created? Because I think it's ancient, that just what they say, 1776 or whatever with Weishaupt. What exactly when it was really all these organizations started from? And what is exactly the goal? I mean, after all, I'm sure it takes a lot of your time, energy. I mean, you've been doing this since you were a younger guy. You don't do this by accident. But it's still something you wanted to do, or maybe you were born to do. But what is the point? What is the goal? What exactly you try to accomplish? You get together and you have a little bit of fun time with your friends, or maybe you just talk about interesting topics. Is a business connection? I'm just trying to play devil's advocate, or at least try to see what the average person out there may think. The average person says, what is he talking about? The Illuminati. What is like the illumination from the light bulbs? I mean, what exactly do you do, guys?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of questions that you have kind of scrambled into one. But
I know, but
take one at a time.
Yes.
I would say that the Illuminati, of course, goes back a long time before 1776, and for that reason, I think that volume 1 of my Confessions is a whole book really dedicated to where and who are these Illuminati, and what is really the Illuminati network made of various names, some of them very obscure, some of them never heard from the majority of the public out there. Because we're talking here about the ancient mystery schools that started at the beginning of time and continued carrying on these mysteries, some of them on the dark side, some of them on the light side. Why do you do it? The same as the angels do their job to protect God and, of course, creation. The same thing the Satanist and Satan itself does with his demons, protecting, of course, the lower infernal realms. I, of course, side on the angelic realm, so I do it for the possibility in the future of establishing the kingdom of God as it was prophesied, because this is what the real Knights Templar should be doing. In reality, the Knights Templar were, of course, then alterated during the course of time when they were not anymore the official order into something different. The official order ends up with Jacob de Molay. Everything that comes later on is Neo-Templarism, and this can take different overtones, some more Jesuitic, other more occultistic and blatantly satanic. Though the Jesuits are the ultimate Satanists, they seem to be also the ultimate scientists. So they manipulate knowledge, they manipulate sacred knowledge that, of course, we know the Vatican has in their archives, but not only the Vatican, you see. So you said, what do these people do? Meet up to share what kind of knowledge? Secret knowledge that is circulated among privileged individuals. This is,
for example, is it true? You know, for example, I was studying some sources.
But it's also true there is the majority of Freemasonry in the U.S. In the average town, which is just no more, no less than any other club, a social club with no, just maybe a particular esoteric, very, very light esoteric approach, which you have in the first 3 degrees. Of course, then we know the biggest rite, the most powerful rite in the U.S. is the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite, and they have a history of indulging in a more esoteric approach later on.
I mean, for example, you know, our founding fathers here in America, many of them, they were deist. That means they believe, you know, in deity, and more important, they were Freemasons. I mean, George Washington. The first president, at least, wasn't really the first president, but you know, the first official president of the Republic. So there was somehow. Also, he said that George Washington, he was worried. There is a good side to Freemasonry.
There is good people to Freemasonry, people that have been able to establish the United States of America are themselves good Freemasons. And there has been, unfortunately, a conspiracy within Freemasonry to corrupt Freemasonry eventually from within. But that's why there is different, at the moment, different Masonic institutions fighting each other, mostly under three main currents that are guided by England, by France, but also by a new good side of the Illuminati and Freemasonry that wants to, and it's actually coming from Romania, which at the moment Romania is very important because they also hold the head position in the world regular lodges as a Secretary General of this organization. So there is, though, in regular Freemasonry, a lot of ignorance regarding what is really happening in Europe, especially amongst the average U.S. Freemason. That's why we hope in the future, with my books, also with my publications and stuff, to clear up certain points that might be of confusion for those who study more closely the phenomenon. Let's say that in Europe, in the last few months, it seems like there is really a growing side of Freemasonry that wants to go on the good side, wants to join the battle of Donald J. Trump, wants to support the new U.S. president.
But more important, not just the president, it's about the agenda to be defending and keeping your nation free and sovereign, because at least what we know, the global plan.
It's very complex. It's not only a question of sovereignty,
Yeah,
of course, the sovereignty, but that's first of all the liberal agenda, full of Satanism. We saw what kind of person John Podesta is. We saw what kind of person Hillary Clinton is, a real witch. I mean, we are talking here about Luciferians, Satanists, more than Luciferians, blatant Satanists that are ready to do evil on a massive scale and that have connections with the satanic realm, real connections. We're not talking here about made-up connections, proven connections that have come up and also quite, in the arena of all the media during the elections. It was quite obvious that there was something strange going on with these emails that said strange things from time to time.
Yeah, no, it's more than that. There's been a real lot of proof and evidence that there is a circle of pedophiles, not just in Washington, but all over Europe, especially, different families that they are very much into power, not just regular people.
Well, absolutely. We saw how the Clinton Foundation has been covering up in Haiti for certain things. And we can say really that the liberals are in bed with the worst Satanists. And this is definitely also not only outside of the Vatican, but also inside the Vatican, because the Vatican is the big supporter with the Jesuits of this liberal agenda. They were really hoping in Hillary as their president. And that moment, of course, Pope Francis, which is destroying the Catholic Church, placing it in the hands of the Satanists, will have won completely.
Yeah. And speaking about the Pope, for me this is like almost the Antichrist, or at least close to something that I don't even recognize. And I'm a former Catholic, doesn't matter. But this guy is out of control. I mean, seriously, among the old Pope I remember, this is completely the Pope that is serving the final plan to try to, let's say, completely finalize this part of globalism. I mean, the Pope that says that all gods are the same, and, he completely goes against some basic foundation of Catholicism. What exactly do you think about him right now? Is it finalizing the plan? Is changing direction, and now the Trump is there? You wrote a book about, give us a little bit about your final analysis of what this Pope is doing.
Well, yes, I wrote a book, Pope Francis, the Last Pope, ? Which was actually a great success also in the US and continues to be, and inspired also a documentary with Alex Jones that we did in Rome. I think that since then, everything really I made public through my book manifested in the open. It was an article only a few days ago in USA Today about the sexual orgies and all these strange things happening within the Vatican that are bringing scandal and disrepute to the whole agenda of the Pope, which of course the Pope in the meantime is very busy opening up and trying to get the Muslims with them, in bed with them and all the rest. Sorry a second, I have to stop here.
No problem.
If you can put a pause a second so I can...
No problem. Anyway, we're here with Leo Zagami from Rome. This is luca-zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. It's very important information because I said sometimes we live in our own reality. We just go to work, we get up in the morning, and we think pretty much this is life. We elect some people out there. Sometimes we're happy with the election, sometimes not. But the reality is there is another world behind what we can see. A world that made of, let's say, a very occult and, let's say, elite group of people who can control government, who can pretty much control politicians like little puppets. And through them, they set the agenda, the global agenda, that's going to change your life in a practical way. I mean, things don't happen by accident. When you start to see that you cannot own any more property, or they want to force a vaccine into you, or maybe, the price of oil is skyrocketing, and any other things that also change your lifestyle or your freedom, don't happen just because somebody is crazy. There is a plan. Some plans that are really long-term, and some plans that are scary plans. Go ahead.
This plan has been in motion for hundreds of years, and we can say that this plan in the end is manifesting now, because with the technology that is in place can fully manifest, bringing really that reign of bestiality and of satanism that is obvious to everybody that sees how people like George Soros operate and his open society, and how he really has manipulated for decades the universities that have become basically recruiting ground and brainwashing territory for thousands, millions of students who at the end find themselves always thinking for this liberal agenda and basically getting outraged later on by the election of finally a president who doesn't fit their scheme of things, which is Donald J. Trump. You understand this, Zanna? This is the point of it. They have in their hands the educational system. And that is a big problem in the US and in the rest of the world.
Everywhere. We have a question, because I always say, at the end of the day, President Trump is just a man. And he has family. He can be rich anywhere. I mean, as much as you are the president of the United States, I mean, remember JFK. I mean, they just need to, if they want to dispose him, they can dispose him. And I know maybe this is not the right time, but even if they don't want to dispose him, they can always say, by the way, if you don't play ball with us, you got your daughter out there, we can reach your son, we can reach your wife. I wonder, in your opinion, because they really, I think they are, at the beginning I wasn't sure, but now I start to realize that they really, for them, is a pain in the butt. It may not be perfect, but guess what? It's really becoming the pain in the butt of the globalists. At least looks like is slowing down all their agenda that they fought so hard lately. Why you don't think they already give them some sort of, ultimatum? Say, you better stop doing this, or we're going to kill you, or we're going to do terrible things to your family. Why do you think he's still there?
Because he is himself born into the establishment. He's never been an outsider. He's somebody who has been in the inside. I see the way he operates as a very personal way of saying, okay, guys, now it's my turn, but I'm going to do things my way. Really following that famous song, and it's a way of somebody who, of course, wants to go against the system because they know very well the system. They have been part of it. So he has also a daughter, Ivanka, which is married with a prominent Jewish person, which also gives the possibility of an even stronger alliance now with Israel. And in Israel, there is now a war between Netanyahu, which of course represents a certain conservative faction, but then you have the opposition, which is of course driven by the Rothschilds, who, as you know, are considered the fathers of the nation in a way, because of the large financing of this whole project, Zionist project from the beginning. But the thing is that things have changed. I mean, this liberal agenda is so much against religion. We have seen ourselves during the whole campaign of Hillary and against Trump, how inconsistent Hillary could be on the religious front, because they don't have an agenda. Their own agenda is just to discredit, in the end, any religion they infiltrate, like they try to infiltrate every possible religion to then unify it in this kind of new age one-world religion, which the Pope is trying to preside.
Yes.
The Pope now, of course, is the biggest enemy of Donald J. Trump. A few days ago, Sosa, which is the new general of the Jesuits from Venezuela, a man of course of Pope Francis, another South American, but also another Jesuit, and the third one to take the position while still the first one who resigned is still alive, which is Hans Kovenbach. So this is the era of the three generals, and who knows if in the future it will not become the era of the three popes, because at the moment the Jesuits have been dictating this trend. And so basically Sosa made a direct attack on Donald Trump. He made a direct attack saying that he promotes anti-Christian values. Now, Jesuits attacking Donald Trump saying something like this, I think it's clear now, like it was clear 200 years ago, that the enemy is always one, the order of the Jesuits. And you have to understand how dangerous they are, because by controlling universities like Georgetown University and many others, like I explained in volume 1 of my Confessions, which you can find on CCC Publishing in the US, it's basically they control also the intelligence community, because a lot of these universities, Jesuit universities in the US, are used by the US intelligence community to recruit for their various agencies. So you see that the Jesuits are very powerful. They don't only have their own knowledge, which is superior to every other, because in Ad Spezia, like I explained in volume 3 of my Confessions, which is about to come out in the next couple of months in the US. In Ad Spezia, you have the biggest archive possible on intelligence activities, superior even to the CIA one. And this was actually written by an Italian publication written by the Parliament.
Wow, it's very interesting. Now, question is, I know that, the plan, at least for what we can see, part of the plan from outside, it was especially in Europe. I mean, look, Europe. I mean, I have still family there. I'm freaking out, okay? I'm trying to bring everybody out if I can. But it's like completely living in a nightmare. When you see a country that is no more the country where you were born, you see that the law, it doesn't apply anymore to anybody, to everybody, but just apply to the slaves. Pretty much, Italian people must pay every tax, must comply with every law. And then there is a chosen race. They bring them in by the truckloads or by the ships. And of course, they're allowed to do whatever they want, take over. I mean, look in Sweden. I'm freaking out about Sweden, Denmark, Italy itself, with this, like they call it refugee. I call it an invasion. And if I was in Italy right now, probably just because I speak like that, I could be punished under so many European laws. I would call hate speech just because I express my opinion. But my point is, how do you see how the Italian people or the European people can finally stop this invasion that, after all, is just a continuation of the Kalergi plan that I'm sure you're very aware of it? Is there a chance, is there a hope for an awakening and to somehow stop this slaughter, this genocide of the European nations and the European people? What do you think?
Well, I mean, we have a few elections coming up in the next few months. One immediately happening now in Holland, very important for the possibility of a right-wing sovereign, of course, party based on the sovereignty of Holland, which will put in serious crisis Europe, because Holland is very important for Europe, of course. And then we will have the elections probably of Marine Le Pen in France. At that point, if Marine Le Pen is also elected, we can consider the European Union as a project on the way out. At that point, it will completely fail to have any relevance, future relevance, because we will see Donald J. Trump arriving in Europe at this point, because he has to do the G7 summit in Sicily at the end of May, in a situation in which probably he will find the whole of Europe in a crisis. Yeah. And that's when Donald Trump needs to invest not only his, let's say, time by coming to Europe, but some possible resources to finance these parties that are all over Europe regaining the sovereignty of the territory for their people. If Donald J. Trump understands this and does what his predecessors have done, as you remember, Luca, the time in which after the Second World War, the CIA, the OSS before invested a lot of money and resources on anti-communism. We are in a situation which requires a new plan in which we have to fight communism and Islam, which is the right hand of communism.
I'm just afraid that it's kind of late, because they already dropped millions of these elements. By the way, I'm not a right wing, I'm not a left wing. I just believe that every country.
But here is a question. It's not a question of of all the views left, right.
No, exactly.
But because these views still exist in the political arena.
No, I understand. I understand. I'm just trying to explain to my listener. The point is not about left or right. It's about to be logical. You want to survive. You want to keep your nation sovereign. You want to be your freedoms. You don't want to become like a third world country. That's what it's about, and that's what Europe is completely lost. I mean, I look in Italy now. I was watching some videos from the news. I was watching some videos in Sweden how they rape in public these poor women, also men. They beat them up, and it's like almost living in a horror movie, and it's real. And the politicians, they don't want to let you talk about it. And this is something that I hope is not too late, because meanwhile all this happens, how many of these refugees already come here, come there, and when they're in, they really mean business. They can crank out 5 or 6, 7 kids, like the ratio is 1 to 7 compared to the European average couple. And in 20 years from now, they will take over. And that's why I'm afraid of the word democracy, because they can put you in Italy. Of course, it's not like a republic like supposed to be here. Even here, they try to change it. 51% of their votes can tell you how you can live your life. I mean, look now in England, like in London, the new mayor, he doesn't like the advertisement billboards with the beautiful women. Guess what? You cannot do that anymore because it's against Islam. So that's what I'm really concerned. You live in Rome. How you see Rome change in the last 20 years? Or at least, let's say, the last 10 years. Because I didn't come there in more than 11 years. I'm missing from 2005, I guess. How it's changed?
Well, it's changed a lot in certain areas, like on the Casilina, in the quartiere you used to know, maybe this quartiere called Tor Pignatara, which is basically it used to be lived mostly by Sicilians, people from Calabria, southern Italy, immigrants from the south. Yeah. Now this whole area has been taken over by the Muslims.
Wow.
So this area taken over by the Muslims means that you see everything that you see in a typical Muslim area elsewhere in other places in Europe. They're all the same, these areas. They are ghettos where there is not much control from the police, from the Italian authorities. And, well, it's pretty sad because you are basically in Rome and you know how close Tor Pignatara is to the center areas like to San Giovanni, to San Lorenzo, or even at a really close distance from the main university in Rome. But I can send you, if you want, a link from an article written by the Huffington Post, and published back in 2 years ago.
Yes.
And this article basically says that Tor Pignatara comanda l'Islam.
Wow.
So basically, Islam
rules.
Controls the whole area of Rome, and this is very disturbing, very worrying for a lot of Romans.
And people want to understand that. Normally I don't even talk about religion on my show. I couldn't care if you worship the cat or the dog. It's your business, okay? But there is a problem where I draw the line. When you have a religion that spells it out on their book or books, and is proven by history, like centuries of violence, okay, that their goal is to dominate you, to convert you by force, and if they don't convert you, you're going to become a B citizen, paying a tax, in this case the DIMA, or whatever they call it, otherwise they chop your head. Simple as that. And that's proven. I have a big problem, and I never will shut up, because this is not just a religion compatible with anybody else. No, that's a religion, theocracy, of course, that also want to change your lifestyle, want to change the way you live life. It's like living under the Middle Ages, of course, or the worst, more violence cult. So that's my point. Once they take over, these bastards, it is no more about, okay, kumbaya, let's get all together, you do your stuff, I do my stuff. No, they will tell you how to live your life. They will tell you if you can have sex, how can you have sex. They will tell you how your wife or how your woman or any woman can dress, where she can go, what food you can eat, if you can drink or not. I mean, that's scary. That's scary. And I had a dream, Leo, I didn't tell you. About 10 years ago, I had a dream that I was in my, little older, let's put it this way, maybe in late 60s. And I was in Rome, and I came back after many, many years. And I was looking at the Tiber, the Tevere. And there was, the typical little shops that used to be there offering coffee on the Tiber or some sort of a bar. And I was asking, I said, what's going on here? I don't see any more crosses on the churches. And and I'm not really a church-going guy. I mean, I believe in God, but I'm not a typical church-going guy. I don't believe in organized religion. But anyway, I still was surprised I couldn't see any more cross around the room. And the woman said, "Hey, be silent. Don't speak too loud. They may hear you." I said, "Ooh." Then after I turned around, I started to see a population I couldn't recognize anymore. And then I realized, oh my God, they took over. And that was in 2005. 2005, and I had not much idea what's going on really in Italy at the time with all this Islam stuff. And then I felt a sense of sadness. I went back to my hotel, whatever it was, very dark environment, and I went to sleep. Maybe I was dead. I don't know. Maybe I was going to die that day. Thank God, probably. I couldn't handle it anymore. But I say, this is so sad. Almost like a glance of the future if we don't stop it. And that's why I believe, it's so important what you're doing through your books. Try to expose their plans. And everybody of us, in every country, this is not just an Italian or European problem. It's a world problem. Can we give your website, Leo? Because I want people going to your website, check out what you do. You have 18 books out there. It's a great information. Give your website, please.
Yes, you can get my books on Amazon and also at Barnes & Noble. And, of course, the publishing company, CCC Publishing, has also a website, which I invite you to visit. And you can also order my books directly from there. And then you have my official website, which is www.leozagami.com, which I carry on in both Italian and English. But I mean, most of the time it's in Italian because I do a lot of work with it that is focusing on the political scene also in Italy, as well as the Masonic one. Mm-hmm. But of course, I invite people to always check it out because from time to time there is some interesting posts also in the English language. And of course, there are my books in the English language. Now we had Pope Francis the Last Pope Question Mark, which was a large success, followed by volume 1 and 2 of my Confessions. And to terminate the trilogy, there will be in June volume 3, published always by CCC Publishing, which I invite you to read because it's really focus on this great battle involving also Donald J. Trump, everything that is happening behind the scenes in the Illuminati, in the Knights Templars, in the various bloodlines, and also in the Vatican. In fact, the subtitle of this book is Templars Espionage in the Shadow of the Vatican.
Wow.
So there is a lot of that also. And I must say that lately in Italy there is a new Masonic scandal which is hitting the media because the government has started a massive investigation on the mafia lodges in Sicily and Calabria, the ones connected to the mafia. Mm-hmm. So they have demanded for months the Masonic authorities, the main Masonic lodges and Grand Lodges, to give their list of Masons, but they wouldn't. So in the end, they had to intervene forcibly. I went in Sicily, though, and with the group representing 1,200 Masons, we were actually positive about giving our names, our list without any problem, because we think that is the future, to be transparent and not have anything to hide. For the good Masons, don't have anything to hide because they are good Masons.
Wow, interesting. I didn't know that. I have just a simple question. I read the book, at least I read. I was trying to finish.
You can actually read about this, see also some pictures of things in my website, leozagami.com. So I invite you to have a look at it. Because for the first time in history, Gianluca, and you will see how important it is, I will send you the link.
Yes.
A Grand Master from Sicily in open lodge condemned both Satanism and mafia infiltration of Masonic lodges. And we did this in Sicily, and it was a Grand Master called Corrado Labisi, who is a professor and now is the head of a university.
Wow.
So,
I have a question for you. Albert Pike, I read the book, I was trying to finish the book, a kind of a big book, Morals and Dogma. Okay, Albert Pike, I think, is one of the institution of, let's say, Scottish.
Well, institution of the Scottish Rite, then accept Scottish Rite, which is one of the rites of Freemasonry, not the whole.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I want your opinion. He brings up in different pages the word Lucifer, the light bearer. And he talks like in a positive way. What do you think about that? Because, from a Christian point of view, may say, wait a second, maybe Lucifer, we look at that like something that's not exactly positive, but also the way he looks at that is like some sort of illumination, some sort of the light bearer. What is your position on Albert Pike?
I warn very clearly in my books about the figure of Lucifer and why there can be a lot of confusion, especially people like Albert Pike, which had an understanding of Hermeticism, of occult philosophy. They tend, of course, to be quite cryptic in their explanations, but also misunderstood very often by people who don't understand because they are in the outside of things. I personally don't really support the view of Albert Pike because in the end, for me, the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite, I like the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite before the actual formation of the Charleston Council, so a more pure form of the Scottish Rite, which was more Christian, more close to the roots. Later on, it became also, of course, Pike is viewing all this in a pagan way, because he was a pagan. I mean, if you read that book, Dogmas and
Moral
Religion,
Dogma,
it's quite clear that he's a pagan, he's not a Christian. No?
Yes.
While instead, my Masonic formation is Christian, so we come from two different parts of
approaches.
That's why it's very important for people to understand that Freemasonry is not a monolithic society with the one view, but it's just like the parliament full of political parties that fight each other. The same thing is Freemasonry, even if it's done in a much more reserved and secretive manner. But of course, Albert Pike, in his description of Lucifer, describes it as Satan or as something negative, because he's simply viewing Lucifer as a sort of Prometheus who flies too high and then tends to burn himself because he's too close maybe to the light at that point. I
see. Very important information. I'm glad you explained this, because sometimes people think, hey, they're all the same. They're mixed. There are different type of families, different type of branches, like in the parliament, as you were saying. Now, last thing I want to say, I want to give you the floor. Pretty much whatever you want to say I didn't touch, you got 3 minutes. I'll give you the floor.
Well, completing this work, that we started by talking about the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite. It is a very complex subject because this is the rite that is more popular in the US. A lot of people focus the whole of their Masonic knowledge upon this rite, and it's wrong, because Freemasonry, as we said, is made out of various traditions. So you had, before the Scottish Rite, the strict observance, which is, for example, the rite which I preside, which existed before the Scottish Rite, and it's totally Christian, and it's never has practiced any form of occultism. And this is clear. You can even check yourself on Wikipedia at the voice strict observance, and it says it very clearly. This was this way already 3 centuries ago, as well as today. While instead we have also occult Freemasonry, but that's not even the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite. There is these Egyptian rites of Freemasonry, so-called Egyptian rites, which are very much versed in occultism, and some of them, of course, we had Aleister Crowley, entered the realm of Satanism and gave a big impact also in modern Satanism. There is a very big link between the so-called Egyptian rites of Freemasonry that derive from Cagliostro all the way to Satanism. There is kind of like un filo conduttore.
Like a connection. Any death threats lately? I'm always surprised when you write all these books and all this information, somebody maybe doesn't like you and you start to have some serious death threats. Anything you can share?
Well, there has been in the past. I fought a long war. I've been arrested for espionage for my website, and I understood really that if I had to put the truth down, the most safe way of doing it is actually doing it on paper, because destroying all the books is much more difficult than destroying all the files.
You're right. That's very true. You can delete everything pretty fast. Listen, Leo, I really appreciate your time, and congratulations for your books, your work, and whatever you're doing in Europe and all over the world, because now it's not anymore what you do. You're in Italy, but unfortunately, this is sad. I think it was Dante says so. Nobody, nessuno è profeta in patria. Nobody's a prophet in their own country. You're getting much more, let's say, opportunity to share your message outside Italy, it seems like Italy really, they try to block everything you do, everything you say. Am I right or wrong?
Well, every now and then I get on TV for a few minutes here and there, but they censor me all the way. I mean, it's like really sad to see that there is no freedom of speech here. Even my Facebook, by the way, has been blocked again for another 30 days. There is no freedom whatsoever. The liberals are the worst censorship mongers there. I mean, they are the ones who really use the censorship in the way the Vatican has always used it, because the school of censorship comes from the Vatican. They are the mothers and father of all censorship in the world.
Yes.
And nowadays, unfortunately, then this is being transmitted to the model of the social networks, where they also have their own form of censorship. And also you have censorship from the media. No Italian media will ever have me at the moment, because for them it's always risky if I'm in diretta, if I'm live.
Yeah.
That is very risky for them. So the only times sometimes like a month ago I was 3 weeks ago on La Sette on a program in the afternoon as of course one of the Trump's representatives here in Italy, and before that on the 20th of January Rai 2 came and they made a little documentary to, because they had to, because it was in Palazzo Ferraioli, which as you know is in front of the parliament.
Yeah.
And we had the most important people coming to this event. We even left out a cardinal and a leading politician like Giacchetti. Wow. So I mean, we had a very good event there, and we had another very good event in Via Sallustiana in front of the American Embassy. All of this proves there is a lot of interest for these topics, but I repeat, like you said, a lot of censorship, unfortunately, from the regular media, and in Italy, at the end, I'm not, I can't really be free of saying the same things I can often say in the US.
Yes, listen, Leo, I appreciate it again. And that was Leo Zagami from Rome, Italy, and this is luca-zanna. We little break. We have a little Zanna coffee break, and then, of course, we go back. More guests, more show, and you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Do not go away.
Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee.
Okay, back into the studio. This is luca-zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM. There was a great interview with Leo Zagami from Rome, Italy. I really like Leo. I mean, he's kind of a very interesting man, I must tell you. This stuff, it is not just a bunch of BS. People may think, oh my God, what is this? Illuminati, and they're real secret societies that they've been going on for centuries. I say since the beginning of humanity almost. But the point is, what Leo is kind of an interesting situation, because normally you don't get this type of information from people of his level. And the fact that he wrote all these books, he was able to say at least part of what's going on and why this is so important. Because we must know really who's been behind the scenes of the last few centuries in this world. You think governments are just the end game? No, the governments are just the face. The point is who controls the governments. And this is still happening. And there's struggle of powers. I'm not saying that all the Illuminatis are bad and all are good. I tell you, honestly, I don't like normally secret societies. I don't like anything secret. But the point is, this has been going on. And it is true. Empires, wars, they all be manipulated by an elite group of people. And if we do not understand that, we will never understand why what's going on even in Washington, or in Europe. This is not just a bunch of crazy politicians being, crazy and start to do policies that make no sense. They're following an agenda. It's a global agenda. In this case, an agenda to destroy humanity, to enslave humanity. And I believe generally that people like him, Leo, even, of course, is part of this secret society, is trying to warn, try to almost, expose the evil side. I mean, our founding fathers, they were part of secret societies. I mean, they were Masons, and there are different levels of Masons. If you're a Christian, that's fine. I understand. You may not be compatible with Masonry, even if you think whatever. But the point is, it's not about religion now. It's about that it's been happening, and it's true. And even, the Masons, the letters, just go and find out the letters by George Washington, warning how, the Jacobinism, they were trying to infiltrate the Masonry in the U.S., in the new formerly United States. And there was very subversive form. And this is still going on. So I'm happy to bring you this information, because I think it's something we need to go deeper sometime to find out really why things are so crazy. Now, not important thing. You heard about Trump, and more important about Congress, Republican Congress, completely disregarding the will of the people to abolish Obamacare. I mean, nobody asked to replace it with something similar. The idea was that now we have Congress, Republican Congress, Senate, Republican Senate, the President, Republican President. There is no more excuse. If now they cannot do what they're supposed to do, this is show and prove exactly that it is all a fraud. And it has been a fraud. I mean, people like Paul Ryan, people like McConnell, people like, McCain, people like, Bonner. I call it Bonner for a reason. He's a Bonner. They proved the point that they were just the complete fraud, the false opposition. I mean, Obama wasn't allowed to raise, our debt to 20 trillion almost because he's cute. That is not cute at all. He's a monster. He was doing that. He was able to do that because people like Ryan, O'Connor, and many other congressmen, they let him do it. That's a fact. So they're all part of the same game. Coming back to the Illuminati, who controls them. It's a false opposition. Now, there is no excuse. I'm disgusted with this Obamacare. Nobody asked him to replace it with a new Republicare or with a Ryan care. That is exactly the same, just with a different name. We want it completely burned. I mean, all they need to do, Congress, they need to get a gallon of gasoline, get these 10,000 pages of Obamacare, put it in a public square in Washington, and burn it. Simple as that. And, I'm very disgusted with my fellow Americans that they somehow support the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. Affordable for who? And I need to control my language here. I'm on the radio. I would like to call you every name on the book because you are disgusting. Let me tell you why. If it's maybe affordable for you, it's been a disaster for the many of us. How do you feel going sleeping at night? When, for example, my insurance, I used to pay, I never asked for anybody. I came here to America. I was flat broke, for God's sake. Not even the money to have a coffee at Starbucks sometimes. Guess what? After the second month I was here, I was already with my own plan, insurance plan. Maybe it wasn't the best plan, but I was able to take care of myself, and I was broke. My last insurance I had before Obamacare with Humana, I was able to pay $135 a month. It was a good plan. I don't go to doctors unless for emergency. I had $5,000 deductible, I think even less, and it was 100% cover. Good plan. For me, it was great. Guess what? The same plan right now, if I supposed to get it, it cost me $600 a month. So some leeches like you can get their free stuff. I have more respect, for God's sake, for a bank robber out there. For, somebody commits bank robbery, I have more respect. You know why? At least he goes to work for his money. At least he risks his life. He risks a bullet in his head, for God's sake, to steal. You spineless piece of crap, you don't even risk anything. You just somehow go and send out in front of you these politicians, Republicans and Democrats, doesn't matter, By the way, they're not even working for you. They're working for corporations, because at the end, that's who are really benefiting out of this. They're destroying the market, the free competition, and they're overcharging us. Meanwhile, so you can get your little free stuff. And meanwhile, our economy is going to toilet. Business are shutting down. And people like me, they have to say, oh my God, I'm pretty lucky. What if I had 5 kids? Some people have to now spend most of their money just mortgage and life insurance and health insurance. So think about that. How do you go back sleep at night? They want to fix this problem? Burn the Obamacare. Obamana. It's abominable. And let the free market do its job. If before I was able to pay $135 a month when there were still restrictions between state lines, what if really we have free market? They would go even lower. Everybody should be able to buy $100 a month insurance. It could happen. $100 a month, yes, can happen. If that's too much for you, you're a real loser. A former immigrant like myself, with no degree in nothing, with not even speaking English, I was able to pay my insurance. I think you should be able to, if you're not all born American. So stop being a leech. Stop being a parasite. Stop hiding behind the mom or government. That all it does is steal from us to give to corporations, and they give you a little bit of sprinkling of freebies to you, just to make you feel good. It's not even for you. Most of it goes back to the corporations. That's what it is. It's a fascism. Idiots, and parasites. I'm so disgusted. And I'm disgusted with the Republican Party. You have no idea. And Trump, don't get me wrong. He's been doing so much in the last, 2 months, 3 months. I mean, he cannot do it all. He still needs Congress. All I know that this system, it will implode. It will fail. Obamacare cannot sustain anymore itself. Maybe what Trump is trying to do now. I don't know. All I know that still, if I had to pay Humana, I would pay now $600 a month for an inferior plan. So somebody on Facebook could say, oh, please, Trump, don't trade on me. Don't trade on my ACA. Go grow some balls, go to work, and make your money, and stop being a parasite. And, you're really pathetic. That's what I'm telling you. And I'm not even a Republican. I hate Republicans, for God's sake. I really do. People like Paul Ryan, I would rather vote for a snake before I vote for Paul Ryan. Would be the last politician in this aisle. Seriously. So don't tell me that I'm the Republican right wing, because I couldn't care less about Republicans, and I don't care about Democrats anyway, for sure. I care about that stealing is not right. I care that I go to work in the morning, at 4 o'clock in the morning I get up. Sometimes I work 16 hours a day, and leave me the heck alone. Okay? I'm not going to pay for your freaking abortion or, condoms or whatever you are. Seriously. Anyway, let me calm down. Ready for our number 2, all about guns. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. And please, don't forget to drink Zanna coffee, okay? ZannaCoffee.com. All right, guys. See you on our number 2. Sorry, sometimes I lose it, but, this is pretty much normal. Think about it. Many people lost their life, not just their homes. Don't go away.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.fm network. It is time. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now with Arizona Concealed Carry Permit by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. Become a more responsible and educated gun owner. Carry legally concealed in 35 states. Carry permitted in restaurants where alcohol is served. Learn where and how you can legally carry a firearm in Arizona. Learn where you can use deadly force. Where can you display your gun or not for self-defense? Learn how to deal with law enforcement while carrying a firearm. Learn how to be aware of your surroundings and how to avoid a confrontation. Buy your gun without waiting for a background check. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now. Go to www.azccw.us. Go to www.azccw.us. Free for single mothers and people with disabilities.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.fm network. Second hour, it is all about guns and training and ideas and mindset. Now, very simple. I really enjoy this hour too because, it's kind of, I don't know, it's almost like a progression. We start with the first hour, we talk about freedom and, of course, different information, really things that I think they're important. But this is the end of the day. It is the natural right of every human being, I don't care where you're from, to defend yourself, to defend your life, to defend your freedom. The problem is that this right, it doesn't exist everywhere. Honestly, the last time I checked, only in America we have this as a right. Everywhere else in the world, it is barely a privilege and selectively, let's say, granted by the authorities, how they call themselves, to the peasants, the slaves, the subjects. That's the reality. So it's something we need really to put a lot of pressure and attention, what we have and what they're trying to steal from us. I mean, just right now, in Canada, they are completely going after the First Amendment, completely the Second Amendment. They try to do more gun registration, and more important, gun regulations. And last Sunday you heard from Mr. Thiessen, our Canadian friend, the former military guy, what they're doing to them. Even just to have a gun, you want to go shoot at the range, handgun, restricted, just because it's a handgun, semi-automatic handgun, you need to call and ask for the permission. Hey, may I go to the range? And this is my address, and this is where I'm going to, and I'll be back by tonight. And they tell you the time. You need to be back at that day. And if you have any problem, just driving to the wrong direction and you get caught, you can spend 5 years in jail. So this is the reality of the world. Now, we are here in America. We are fighting back. The problem is that, not because we have Trump or we have a Republican Congress, we must go back to sleep. Because look at these bastards, what they're doing to us with Obamacare. They prove the point. The Ryan, the McConnell, all these Republicans, rats. They're not different from the other Democrats, rats. They're all playing for the same masters. So this point is, yes, we have a little better chances now to defend our gun rights, but do not go back to sleep. Because the traders, they're still there. We need to smoke them out. Forget about, the swamp. Trump said we need to smoke them out like rats. Anyway, let me cool down because I'm getting excited now. I have a lady that I'm going to have right now with me from Golden Valley. This last Sunday was my first article as a contributor, like a freelancer, when it comes down to guns-related topics, self-defense, on the King Madeli Minor. And I'm very humble and thankful, for them to give me the opportunity to write. After all, I can barely write English, so kind of amazing. And I wrote this article that I invite you to read. It's a moral and ethical decision to own firearm for self-defense. And we will talk a little bit about this now. But the point was, there was this lady from Golden Valley. She made a good point. At the end of the day, the gun is just a tool. It doesn't matter what you have. You are the weapon. Like I've been said many times, and it's true. The combat mindset, the survival mindset, the mother instinct mindset. Of course, mothers, I think they have an edge there because, normally they're really protective of their sons and children. But every one of us should have the instinct. So that's the point. So I want to read a little bit about this article just because I think it's a good topic for us, regardless you buy a gun or not, you think you have a gun. The point is, are you really sure you are willing to use it if you have to? And remember, the gun or the weapon or the firearm is the tool of the last resort. This is the most important thing we must understand. We are not here. We don't try to kill anybody. We don't want to harm anybody. We want to just left alone. It's something we can try to avoid. Probably 90% of the situation you can avoid, even 99%. But the point is, if you are forced to face your attacker, are you going to hesitate? Or are you going to do what you have to do to defend your life and to stop the threat? Now, let me bring this lady on. She's also my Facebook friend. And it's very exciting. I like to talk to people. Normally we interact on Facebook. Misty from Golden Valley. Are you there? I think she's not there. Let me call her back. Here we go. Misty. All right. This is Misty from Golden Valley. Misty from Golden Valley, are you there?
Yes.
Very good. I did the introduction, and I wanted just to let you know we are on the air right now. And first of all, nice to meet you in person, via phone. How are you?
Thank I'm fine, thank you.
Very good. So, I was talking about this little article that I wrote on the Daily Miner, and your point, I think, was a very good point that you wrote on my Facebook page, that at the end of the day, the gun doesn't matter what gun, doesn't even matter if you have a gun or not, but it is you, the person, that with the right mindset of survival mindset, the combat mindset, as they call it, that really makes the difference. What do you think about this? What we were talking about, this article regarding let's say, the ethical and moral decision to even own a firearm. Is a firearm for everybody, first of all, you think?
No, not at all. The reason why I think not is because not everybody can stop and think about what's going to happen to the person that they use their firearm, what's going to happen to the people around them. And there's so many people that have mushed their brains from drugs and from over-alcoholing it and from just trying to escape the reality of the world that they are not in the right mindset to own a gun. So, no, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
A good idea.
And my point in the article was even beyond that, because, I completely agree. If you're on drugs, I'm talking about real drugs. I'm not talking about, unfortunately, people now, even if you drink, if you are on, let's say, medical marijuana, they cut your rights. And, at that point, they could do the same way if I drink wine at night. I mean, for me, that's wrong, okay? I think a plant like marijuana, and I don't smoke marijuana, I don't even like the flavor or the smell, but the point is, they will treat that as a addictive drug like meth or like heroin, things that I completely understand, and I'm with you. If you're on drugs like that, your soul is gone, and you should not be able to have a gun. And by the way, there are already laws right there. But the point I was trying to make on the article, it was even beyond the drugs, was about some people, and I respect that, they have a different type of, let's say, morality or ethical and religious belief. For example, if you look at some religions out there, like I think the Buddhists, for example, they do not accept the idea to kill even for self-defense, at least some of them, okay? So there are some situations that you may even have the most expensive gun. You could be also very well trained, but if you don't have made that decision to say, hey, this is the time, I have no more option, my life or his life, my children's life, or this innocent life, or his or her life, the attacker life. By the way, we don't want to kill. Normally in our lingo, even when we do, for example, CCW classes, in general, we never use the word killing. We are not here to kill anybody. We want to stop the threat. And then if the bastard, in the middle of this process is going to have a bad day, he's going to go to the other side, that's his problem. But we don't want to kill anybody. We want to just stop it. Stop the threat. So the point is, no matter what type of guns you have, even empty hands, the most important weapon you have is your mindset. And that's what you were saying. I read that you also, at part of your life, you were working as a correctional officer. Am I right?
No, I went to school for it.
Oh, school for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. I went to school and I got certified in arrest control, firearms, and those different courses and stuff. But I didn't apply myself because that's when I moved to Arkansas to go help my grandma because she was really sick, and they were threatening to put her in a home and stuff. So then I changed my everything and then went out there and became a CNA, and then I took care of her until she left, and then I stayed out there for a few years too long, and then I took my kids and left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about you and guns in Arizona. When did you move to Golden Valley, Arizona, if I can ask you?
My kids and I came out here a couple summers ago. Okay. And I refused to go back to Arkansas. I had a piece of property, and it didn't have a great trailer on it, but I've made it livable, and it passed everything that it was supposed to. And so I lived here a long time ago before that. Both of my kids were born here. So I came out when I graduated from high school in 95, and my mom had lived out here, and that's how I came to meet Golden Valley. And so I just lived out here and, worked and did my thing and had fun and been.
Do you like it here?
Anyway.
Compared to Arkansas, how do you like it here? Because, I never told you, but when I was 21 and I was still in Italian and I was as a tourist here, I went to Jonesboro, Arkansas, and I did my first experience in America. I studied as an airplane pilot, and I certified for private airplane pilot. So I was spent like probably 6 months in Arkansas. It was a kind of wild time because I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back to Italy. So I had like free rent till I was passing my test. And, there was snow, and then there was me kind of playing a rock band at night. So I always try to delay my final test. So finally they kicked me out. So you got to do your test or you go back, to Italy without the test. So I said, okay, let me do my test. And I was able to do it. But I really enjoyed Jonesboro. I had a great time. I had great ladies that I remember. It was one of my best time of my life, honestly, when I was there. I really enjoyed. Which part of Arkansas you were from?
Rogers, Arkansas.
How far from Jonesboro? That's pretty close, pretty much.
Actually, the apartments that I lived in, our manager, she managed apartments over in Jonesboro. But if you look at the map, on the very top part of the map, Jonesboro is all the way to the right. Rogers, Arkansas is all the way to the left.
Wow.
And it's right next to Bentonville, Arkansas. That's like the Walmart Corp of the world.
Wow.
Just right next to it. I'm not for sure how far. 2 or 3 hours, I think.
Anyway, interesting. I mean, it's a small world after all. Who knows? Maybe one day you were around there. I was there when I was 21. But anyway, let's talk now about Golden Valley.
No. I only lived out there for like 8 years or 9 years.
So you weren't there.
Yeah, I only lived out there. I'm from I was born in Washington, but I was raised in California. And, so moving to Arkansas was a big thing because I had to drive all the way.
I see.
And I was in one of those great, big, huge Penske trucks. So
I see.
I had a lot of fears to face on the road.
Very good.
Yeah.
By the way, tomorrow you're joining. You're going to join tomorrow. By the way, this show is recorded, so you're going to listen to this on Sunday. But we have a CCW class on Saturday in Golden Valley, one of my Arizona concealed weapon carry CCW classes. And you're going to be coming there. And tell me a little bit about any questions you may have. I mean, first of all, you don't need to answer, of course. We keep your privacy here. But the point is, do you already have a gun? You know how to use it? What exactly the story with you and guns? Tell me.
I have always wanted my own handgun, but I wasn't allowed to because the person I was married to wouldn't let me. There was always a reason or something stupid, or he wanted to get an AR before I ever got a pistol, and so I wasn't allowed to, and then my mom and I, my mom lives out here too, and we had talked about it and stuff like that, and she was going to get me one for Christmas, so I wound up getting it before Christmas, and there is, when I read your article in the Kingman Daily Miner News and stuff, it got me to thinking, and the wheels started turning. And when I got my gun, my uncle, he had thought I was going to go out and do something stupid because there was an altercation that happened. And of course, the police aren't on my side. They've never been on my side. California, here, wherever, So, anyways, it was already in the making for me to get it. It just so happened that I got it after I got hit and I have a restraining order, and the police, I asked them to make a report of it, but they told me it was my fault. I still really don't see how it was really my fault, but okay, whatever, you know what, it won't happen again because I learned a huge lesson. And so anyways, I got my gun, and my uncle, he was so upset. He was like, now you're going to go and do something stupid, and you're going to shoot him, aren't you? And I was like, well, no,
Let me ask you,
did you
go in a domestic violence? I can ask you something. Were you in a domestic violence situation?
A domestic violence, what's that?
I mean, were you ever in a domestic violence situation, like your boyfriend or husband, beat you up?
Oh,
or
it was my ex-husband.
Yeah.
I divorced.
But did you ever have to call the cops and let's say report a domestic violence situation?
Oh, well, when I took the kids and I left Arizona when they were babies, our daughter was 1. yes, he got arrested for domestic violence and put in jail. And then he had a warrant or whatever out for several years. And that's why I came back here and I stayed with the kids because the divorce attorney in Arkansas told me that if I ever got the opportunity to take the kids and come back to Arizona, that I have to go back to where it all began so I can redo what I did and what I allowed.
Okay.
So
I want to just to let you know this.
Let me
tell you this. In general, unfortunately, the law is very unfair. But if there is a domestic violence, okay, I'm not here a lawyer. I'm not giving any legal advice, but I tell you what can happen. Let's say you are in domestic violence, and you're even the alleged victim. Okay, you call the police arrives, and they arrest the perpetrator, and then of course going to be trial, whatever. The point, just because you're involved in a domestic violence, you may one day try to buy a gun. And this has happened to a friend of mine, a lady used to be from Bullhead a few years ago. She was in a domestic violence 20 years ago. The husband really beat her up pretty bad. The husband was the perpetrator. He was convicted of domestic violence. She was the victim. Still, she was trying to buy a gun. And the NICS, the FBI background check, they told her, no, sorry, you cannot buy the gun because you were involved in a domestic violence. Wait a second, I was the victim. She had to put a lot of time and effort to try to clear this up. And that's my point. In general, to everybody out there, watch it. If you start to see somebody that, is violent, and even if you are the victim, don't go that far. Try to avoid the stage that you have to call the police, because then it's going to be on the record. It's going to be even bad for you, too, as a victim. That's why I want...
Mine didn't show up.
I'm glad.
I have 2 or 3 rifles in my name from Arkansas.
Okay, that's good.
And
I'm glad.
Yeah, so I don't know. And I'm also in the national database because I was fingerprinted in California when I took the Red Correctional Officer course.
Yes.
And it never showed up on there either.
That's good. That's good.
And then when we came back here, my mom had purchased the gun, and the people that she got it from, they didn't ask for her ID. She didn't have to fill nothing out or anything. Mm-hmm. Nothing.
Okay.
They sold it to her, and they said, "You're resident here, right?" And and she was like, "Yeah." So, and then that was it. So I really, because there's another gun salesman where I work, and he comes periodically, and he takes pictures of people's ID. He said that you have to do that if you sell them a gun, And then
it works in this way.
My handgun from, they didn't ask me nothing.
Let me ask you something. If you go to the regular FFL dealer, okay, or let's say a regular shop, yes, you must also have a background check. That means you call NICS. It's part of the federal law. You cannot get away with that. But if you go, let's say, to a pawn shop, to a swap meet, okay, and you can have a private sale, okay. This is legal in the state of Arizona. If you are a resident, all you have to do is show him an ID, proof of ID, that you are a resident of Arizona, and the other person must be, of course, also an Arizona resident, and you can buy and sell guns like you are buying a pair of shoes. Simple as that. Technically, all you have to do is just show him the ID. But to be also, let's say, safer, I always suggest, or at least I always do when if I sell any of my guns, I don't really like to sell my guns, but if I have to, I give you like a private bill of sale that I want to take your name, and also it also is good for you as a buyer that you know where you bought this gun. The gun, it wasn't just found on the street. There is a serial number of the gun, and there is also normally I put the ID of the person that is the buyer. Because tomorrow, let's say, for example, I sell you a gun, and let's say you sell the gun to somebody else, or the gun gets stolen. Who knows? And they do a robbery, or they kill somebody. They commit a crime. The first thing is going to happen, since I'm the one that originally bought it from the shop, the ATF will have a way to find out who bought the gun. They're going to come to my door. And then I have to tell him, oh, yeah, by the way, I sold the gun to that person. Which person? I don't remember. She just showed me an ID. It doesn't look that good. So it's good always, my humble opinion, even when you do private sales, that I think it's a great thing. Don't get me wrong. I really like private sales. In Arizona, let's use this right. But always have at least a bill of sale, private bill of sale, and get sure that you have a copy of an ID, or at least show him that you can write down the number of the Arizona ID. And that's very important.
Right.
Don't, because people, there are a lot of Californians try to, come here for the weekend, and some of them,
Right.
they try to play game, and some of them, I don't even believe they're regular people. They may also be working for the state, for the state of the government of California, to try to set up people. That's what they do. Like they did in New York. Bloomberg was sending people all over the states to try to do these straw purchases, That's what they do normally. We got to really watch that. All right. Any question about tomorrow class? I know that tomorrow you're going to be at my class. I'm going to be excited. At least you can attend the class. Any questions do you have? Before?
Yeah. What do I need to bring?
Okay, very simple.
Info papers.
So it's good also for all the other people that are listening, in case they're going to join to one of my classes, Arizona CCW classes. First of all, if you want to bring your gun, you're welcome to do it with also your regular holster. At least we can take a look, and maybe we can also get some ideas. But please do not bring ammunition in the room. So that means the gun must be unloaded. And that's pretty much the only thing. Other thing I always say to everybody, bring a smile and a good attitude, because we're going to have a lot of great time together. It's going to be 5 hours at least. My classes, normally they are, I could give the basic requirement that now the state of Arizona wants in about 1 hour. But my classes, if you go through the curriculum, they're like 10 times more than what they demand or what they ask. Why? Because I want people that they're going to become an asset. I want to give them at least as much information as possible. And even, of course, they're not going to learn all these things tomorrow, but at least they know what they do not know. And more important, even normally, in the average CCW class, they don't touch marksmanship. They don't even touch basic or shooting in real life. But I want to show them what really can happen, how you must achieve and find the training, because, you're going to get a piece of plastic from DPS, the CCW permit, whatever, and then, people say, okay, I got everything I need. No, that's just the beginning of your journey.
Right.
That's going to be the beginning.
Yep.
So I really want to give the best I can. And normally that's the way I am. Every time I do something, I'm not just there for the dollars, the money. I don't even need the money, honestly. I'm doing this because I really like it. And I really want my purpose to try to help law-abiding people to become an asset in this society. And I believe more law-abiding citizens with guns is a better society. Less criminals, and more important, we have a chance to defend ourselves and to create a better environment. So that's pretty much the story. What is your personal handgun that you like or you carry?
I have. It's a 22. It looks like a Glock, but it's just 22.
Okay. And, talking about just 22, 22, you will see tomorrow, we will talk about different calibers. Of course, it is not the first or the most favorable caliber for self-defense. But at the end of the day, you are the weapon. And if that 22 all you have, you will train with the 22. You will make the best out of that. The reality, of course, 22, by the way, a lot of people die of 22. Probably more people die out of 22 than regular average cartridges. The problem that it is like a slow, painful death. Because they are really fast rounds. They're very small, hard to remove. But, in self-defense, our goal is not to kill. Our goal is to stop the threat as fast as we can. So, even a 22 can do the job with the right, accuracy and shot placements. But we will see what gun you have, and maybe I can give you some other ideas. And, even if that's the only gun you have, guess what? They call places you can do private sales, or you can sell them at pawn shop or whatever. And you can sell the gun and get another gun with the money. And I think would be probably better ideas, 22 are that great for a second gun?
Yeah, it was expensive, actually.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe my mom paid that much for it.
What is the brand? What brand is that?
It's an Austria. Let me go get it. I think it says Austria. They stopped making them, so I've got to buy like a couple magazines before they don't make them anymore. Well, yeah. And then the person that I bought, or my mom bought it from, they don't have any. So there's a company, and they've only got so many left.
Okay.
And I need to hurry up and get them before
tomorrow.
They're all gone.
Tomorrow, bring it.
Gun shop down here.
Tomorrow, bring it.
Order them, but she wanted like $50 a piece or whatever, over 50, and the manufacturer is selling them for like 20, I think, 15, 20 bucks.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, no, thank you. Anyways, it's a ISSC M22 Austria caliber 22 LR.
Okay, tomorrow I will take a look at
my
that.
next question was, if I should bring no bullets, are they going to be provided or?
Oh, no, tomorrow we don't shoot.
them in my truck?
Tomorrow, what we do, we're going to look at your guns. After we finish the class, normally, I do also give the opportunity to also go shoot a few rounds together. There is no more qualification. There is no more mandatory shooting. But since we had the range, we can also do that. If people are too tired after the class, I run a range check, and we can come back and shoot another day. We'll go by ear. But bring your gun, bring your holster, and also if you have, bring at least 20 rounds, okay, that you leave in the car, okay?
Okay.
Perfect.
All
right.
My first step is, hey, I got bullets at the bottom of it.
All right, listen, Misty, thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow, okay?
All right, thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Very good.
Bye.
Very good. And there was Misty from Golden Valley, and it's going to be part of my class of tomorrow, I think, Golden Valley, Arizona. Now, I have another guy that I'm going to call. He honestly contact me. Seems like he has some good deals on ammunition. I think he's from Bullhead. So let me give you 5 seconds break. Then let's have a Zanna coffee. And then I'll bring you back this guy from Bullhead. It seems like he has some credible deals about ammunition in Bullhead, okay? Do not go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna, and this is the hour about guns.
Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee.
Here we go, guys and girls, back on the air. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. This is the second hour, the hour about guns. I always like to have, local guests. And believe it or not, even for me, people say, I'm just a caller, I'm just a regular guy. For me, you are the most important guest. Because at the end of the day, I like to hear exactly what's going on with you. The famous people, yes, they're great. But at the end of the day, most important people are the listeners. This is the type of show I like to do, when every listener can become a guest. By the way, talking about that, before we go ahead now, the final hour, do not go away. I have an incredible lady from New Zealand. She's a listener of the show, of course, and also she's just a regular lady. But she wants to say important things about what's happening in New Zealand. So this is the idea. So now, let me shut up. Let me bring this gentleman. He's from Bullhead. His name is Mel. And he was contacting me before on Facebook. Seems like he has some great deals on ammunition in Bullhead. Let me be sure I got it down right, first of all. Mel, are you there?
I'm well, Gianluca. How you doing, my friend?
Very good, Mel. And I'm just curious, sometimes I start to, we are Facebook friends. I know you, but when did you start to listen to my show? When you listened to me?
Oh, geez. As soon as you came on the air, I was a fan of yours already, of your music and your gun rights thing. God bless America, man. Welcome to our country. I'm glad you're doing well.
Oh, my God.
And God bless Arizona most of all,
Yeah, listen, and you're from Bullhead, right?
I grew up here locally in Needles, California, and I'm pretty much homegrown.
Very good. And I also looking at your Facebook profile that not only you're just a gun guy, but you're like into Western reenactment. You dress like, my gosh, like one of the movies that I used to watch when I was in Italy, spaghetti Western. I mean, do you do like
that's true.
Gunslingers movie? I mean, what do you do? Reenactment? Where do you do your shows?
Well, I'm the good, bad, and the ugly. I'm a gunslinger up in Oatman, Arizona. I'm actually the town marshal. I have no law enforcement authority whatsoever. I'm more of a docent. Okay. They call me Marshal Tucker up. They call me Marshal Tucker up there. Maybe you've heard of Marshal Tucker before.
Yeah. And I was looking right now at your photos, man. You all dressed the part perfectly. Wow.
Oh, you know what, man? Yeah, we do reenactments. We do shows. several times throughout the day. I shoot with the Ghost Rider gunfighters who've been up there forever.
Yeah.
The donations we receive for the gun shows pay for the restroom, the public restroom that we've provided through the Chamber of Commerce. And also I shoot with the Red Ridge Marauders. The gentleman I shoot with is Mike Fox. He's a musician there at the saloon.
Uh-huh.
And our donations go to the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So we've donated quite a bit of money to them as well as Wounded Warriors Project and the KIA program as well. Kill in Action.
That's pretty amazing. So when is normally your show happening? Because I like to also promote it on the radio. You have a date, a time, or what is that situation there?
Sure, that'd be terrific. I'm Marshal Tucker. I've got a marshal's office right by the Hidden Treasures and the old time photos studio that's there. You'll see the Marshal Tucker's office there, and we do our shows at 1:30 and around 2:30 and then around 3:30, and then at the end of the day I do a one-man gun show, which is pretty unique as well. It's not a reenactment. Wow,
I missed that. I'm so mad because I've been here for so many years, but somehow I missed this part. I used to when I was still living in California. By the way, I also wrote a song. Back to Calico. They inspired me. I used to go to Calico a couple of times there, and I really enjoy the gunfights. I grew up in Italy with the spaghetti western movies. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to move to Arizona, because I really like this idea of the western. But I want to come and see you, man. Well, I like to want to come and watch what you're doing there. So next time I'm going to try to organize. It would be perfect. Now, listen, I heard that you were telling me that there are some deals on ammunition, and that's the beautiful thing about the show. I like to bring information to our listeners, and this is not about me sponsoring. I like to really get deals for you guys, because I believe every human being out there has the right to have a gun or more than one and have as much ammunition as they can. So that's an opportunity.
Absolutely.
What type of deals do you have, and how people can find these deals? Go ahead.
No, Gianluca, I've got 30 boxes of Remington 12-gauge game shot, and I know there's a lot of hunters in this community and around this town. That's just a great deal, and it's going to be $3 per box. And if they buy more than 5 boxes, we'll get them to them for only $2.50 per box.
Wow, that's a pretty good deal, man.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
How did you get this? I mean, I'm just curious. You selling stuff, somebody else stuff, or it's your stuff?
Well, I'll tell you, a friend of ours had succumbed to diabetes. He's a gunsmith and a gun friend out here, and he had succumbed to diabetes. He had to be checked into a home. So on kind of short notice, he just pretty much had to give up his life, and couldn't have any of that stuff in his home. So we're helping him out. We're unloading some of his stuff for him, and helping the guy get back on his feet, so to speak, financially and whatnot.
I understand. So you're helping somebody. That's great. Listen, how can people contact you? I mean, do you want to go through Facebook? You want to share your phone number? It's up to you. Whatever works for you.
I'll tell you what. They can go to my Facebook page, and that's Mel Moore at Bullhead City. I'll be that good-looking guy with the beard and the cowboy hat, most humbly stated. And they can just go ahead and leave me a note on there, and then we can make arrangements for them to see what ammo I have available and what's in stock, and if we can supply their needs for them,
Excellent.
I've got some 7.62, I've got some 9mm, I've got some 40 caliber, I've got 22, just a whole variety of different stuff, I'm limited on some of the supplies on the smaller calibers, but the 12 gauge, we've got a whole bunch of that available for your listeners.
That's really good. And by the way, whenever you got deals on ammo, just call me in. Let me know, and I'll bring you on the show. Because that's exactly the spirit of the second hour. Normally, I like to, share information or wherever they can get deals. I don't care where. All I want people to get good deals. That's the idea. Speaking about good deals, I want to remind everybody that I got some sort of amazing, step that I never could imagine I really was going to do. I just became a licensed federal gun manufacturer. And kind of shocking for me, because I always hated the process, the idea that I need to go through so many regulations. But I broke down, as I want to do, especially to finally promote and distribute my Freedom Rifle. They don't trade on us, the Freedom Rifle. So I would like to say, everybody out there, listeners, who wants to take a look at They Don't Trade on Us, the Freedom Rifle, go to freedomrifle.com, and it's the most affordable and highest quality AR-15 in the M4 configuration, military grade, with lifetime warranty on the lower and an incredible warranty also on the upper, for just $499. And now the beautiful thing, I can ship directly myself to any FFL dealer in the country. Of course, what's going on in the back? Every FFL dealer that anyway is in the state that you can have this type of gun, okay? If you're in California, I'm sorry. I can just send you a photo. But regardless, please, don't do that. Now, what type of gun? I see that you shoot, of course, as a cowboy, single-action handguns. What is the gun normally you carry with you? Because I'm not really an expert. Single action, I'm really, I don't have much information. I bought the first single action gun just because I also teach range safety officers certification. I'm a chief range safety officer with NRA. So I had to buy almost every gun on the book. And I'm trying to learn a little bit more about the single action, of course. I know how it works, but I never really had any practice. What single action caliber gun and what gun do you have?
Oh, you know what, Gianluca, I'm glad you asked that. But first, let me tell you, I'm all for regulation. And Arizona has probably dealt with gun control publicly more than any other state here in the United States that we're aware of. If you know the story of the OK Corral, that was about gun control.
Yes.
And Arizona came to the idea that everyone should be able to carry. And if you're a citizen here in Arizona, you can always CCW. And we've dealt with it longer than anywhere else. And you notice we don't have the problems in the terroristic and a lot of the gun issues they have in other states because we're allowed that freedom here. Yes. So God bless America. God bless Arizona. And now the gun that I use two different models. One of them is the Remington 44 caliber black powder cap and ball gun, single action. That's the same type that Josie Wells used in the film, like that, where you can pop the cartridge out. It's almost like having a clip. If you got another cartridge already packed with powder and cap, you can just put it right in there just in a couple seconds. The other one that I use is going to be the Army Colt, which is the same type that Doc Holliday used, and also the other fastest gun in the Wild West, which would be Wellville Hickok. You know, when you watch the shootouts and the stuff on television, they're using that 45 Peacemaker, and that really didn't come out until 1876. And by the time it was popular, it was the 1890s by the time every cowboy had one in their hand. And pretty much the Wild West, as we know it, other than here in Arizona, which was still a territory, had already gone through all of that. So when you watch the films that are showing that 45 they're using, that wasn't really accurate.
Yeah.
What they would have had was these guns that we use, which would have been the cap and ball gun. It's a black powder gun. You got to pack the powder down. And a lot of these sayings we have today, like pack your powder, don't go half cocked, to bust the cap. Those all came from the old Wild West. Those sayings like that. But you pack in a little bit of powder in there, black powder, and then you put on top of that a wadding. But we use here, and this is what the mountain men would have used. Also, would have been biscuit powder. You know, like you make biscuits out of cornmeal.
Wow.
And you can eat it too.
Wow.
We use that because out here in the desert and out here in the wilderness, you don't always have a piece of wadding that you'd use. And also, like I said, you can eat the stuff.
Wow.
You go ahead and pack that down on top of your powder, and then you still don't put a cap in it. You put your ball in there. Then once you get your ball packed in, you do this times 3 times 6, right? That's by the time you got all 6 rounds loaded up.
Wow.
So it's not something done in a hurry.
Interesting.
So you really got to think about your round. By the time you get done, then you can put the cap in each, and then you got a live round. And you're ready to go. Well,
you know, it's kind of fascinating, you know, because sometimes, you know, for me, normally my guns are all modern and I use them for self-defense, but at the time we forget how the guns also evolved. And, you know, even at the time was probably one of the most powerful things people used to have and were probably even expensive, but we went huge, let's say, progress into the gun manufacturing and, of course, technology that we have now compared to single-action black powder they used to have. You know, it's completely another world.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm having trouble sometimes just to load and unload this little 6-shooter that I bought just for demonstration. And I can imagine really every round they had in a gunfight was so vital, so important. You know, you got 6 rounds, and you're not going to have a time for having an emergency reload like with a semi-automatic. You know, you drop your magazine, and in 1 second I can put another magazine in. That's going to be pretty much all you can have, you know, in the gunfight.
You can banana clip that, flip it around, you know, away you go. Here what you did back in those days. A lot of the Western folk would carry 2 weapons on them. That way they'd have a backup right away, especially the cavalrymen and the Navy people during the Civil War. They'd have 2 weapons. That way they can grab another one. The nice thing about that Remington, though, is you could pop out the cartridge just in a couple seconds. Yeah. And if you got another round already capped and ready to go, you just put it in there, almost like you would a clip. It takes about as long as that. What? But you really counted your rounds. You really made sure they happened. They have a 9-inch barrel on them, so they're practically as accurate as most rifles almost, you know.
Exactly.
It's not like the little short pistols that you shoot today. You could hit something at 50 yards and pretty well dang hit it. And that's damn good for a pistol.
Question: when you do your show, your enhancement show, do you use any type of ear protection, or you just shoot like that?
Well, what we all use is we all use black powders, and as I said, there are so many steps involved by the time you actually put that slug in there that you know that there's not going to be a cap or a ball inside.
No, I'm talking about ear.
So we're just shooting. We're shooting rounds that don't have the balls in them.
No, I understand. I'm
talking about, that means it's just a blank. It's basically a blank.
No, I'm talking about
shoot the cornmeal.
Mel, I'm talking about ear protection for your ears, ear protection for the sound.
No. We just hold the gun as far as you can reach it out in front of you. You know, it's just like the old Wild West. They make a heck of a boom. Yeah. And when you don't put that ball in there, you can that's another eighth of inch of powder you can put in there.
Wow.
But it's a lot of show, a lot of smoke, a lot of flame, and it's just a lot really amazing for people to watch these things.
I see.
But there is a safety feature involved. We make sure that the crowds are set back far enough away that they will not feel the blast of it. They aren't going to be harmed by the sound of it. And then also the people involved in the reenactments, we keep a good distance from each other. Because you can shoot something 6-7 feet away from you, and it'll flame blast, it'll pressure blast that.
Wow.
So we make sure we're a good distance from each other when we do these shots. We never aim at eye level. We always aim somewhat off a little bit.
Yeah.
Safety is a very, very important thing that we take quite seriously when we do these guns. We're not amateurs. We practice with these things regularly. We go through the routines. If we have somebody that's a guest shooter in town, we always inspect their weapons and double check it. You know, there's been accidents even in the recent past here where people have not checked their weapons and they've ended up hurting another gunfighter, if not a spectator.
Wow.
So we keep that first primary in mind, is your safety, you know. Yeah. And then we do a reenactment around that. It always ends up pretty much the same, though. It starts with fellows with guns. It starts with some sort of disagreement, and it always ends in gunfire.
Question. Speaking about a gunfight, you know, before you were something very important. You know, I was studying, and by the way, I went to Tombstone one time, and then that's why one of the reasons really I wanted to come to Arizona. You know, by accident when I was still in California, I came to Tombstone and I said, wow. This place, everybody's wearing a gun, carrying a gun. This is so amazing. You know, I was freaking out. So I said, and then 2 months later, I sold everything and we came to Arizona. Okay, that was years ago. But my point is, you know, talking about history, gun control history, you know, as much as people want to say, you know, Tombstone, you know, the good guy was the sheriff, you know, and all this stuff. In my opinion, you know, it's not black and white because, you know, if I was a law-abiding person, that was the first form of gun control, and I completely opposed gun control, and I think it was wrong for the sheriff of the time to say, wait a second, in this town, no guns are allowed, just us, the law. That's wrong. I mean, that's like California. That's like pretty much like anywhere in Europe. So, you know, of course, you know, they were the other guys that weren't exactly saint, but they got a point, in my opinion. You know, I have the right. And now the good thing, you know, we have preemptive state laws in Arizona, so the local municipality or town can override any type of gun registration or gun confiscation or gun restrictions. Everything must come from Phoenix when it comes down to gun rights. So
sure.
What do you think about the story of the OK Corral? What is for you? Well, what do you think, your opinion?
Well, my take on that, and being a Wild historian as my secondary major, I've studied, you know, the OK Corral incident, and, you know, the herbs came down from the Lincoln County cattle wars that were going on. Yeah. So the landowners were trying to keep pioneers from coming out. So they're already a little bit gun crazy or gun happy, you know, a little too quick to the trigger. And then when you think about it, for them to legislate, and they overrode Brimwell's, he was AT, which meant all a Tombstone. That was his badge. That's the gentleman that argues with him over jurisdiction in the film. Yeah. But that guy was on the take though by the red cowboys. The thing is though, there's a lot of out of control gun activity going on in the town. It was just, you know, wild west. People were getting harmed. Honest, law-abiding citizens were. So the herbs, in their own mind, in their own right, were trying to protect the law-abiding citizens. That's the gist of it.
My understanding.
But when you think about it, at the end of the day, though, they did try and remove people's rights, and they did end up killing people. Yeah, and they did face some legislature on that. They were tried on that as well. Yeah. They had to go in and prove that they had a right to bear arms and a right to defend themselves. But I would say they kind of egged on the fight. You know, I wasn't there, So it's hard really to say without being there in person.
No, I understand,
but be threatening you.
Let's go.
They're going to hurt your family members.
Man, let's go by logic.
You're going to get a little bit crazy.
Let's go by logic. Let's say there were a lot of bad people out there, and it's true. It was Wild West, and there were all these factions. The cattle wars and all this stuff. The point is, I believe that even if 99% of the people that are out there could be evil, I'm not guilty. I don't like this collective sense of guilt. And the bottom line is, even if there are, let's say, 50% of the city were a bunch of crazy people, guess what? The other 50, they are not, and they have the right to defend themselves. In my opinion, I don't care how wild the things were. Even one more reason, the law-abiding people should have the right to defend themselves because, after all, you cannot sleep with the sheriff in your bed, thank God. I don't want that. And you cannot carry the sheriff wherever you go. So you always have the opportunity to defend yourself. And only if you're guilty, you need to be punished. I don't believe in this sense of collectivist, punishment,
As you know, 9mm beats 911 any day. Luca, I'd love to talk more about this, man. I've got to run.
I'll let
I
you
don't
go,
want to
man.
take any more of your time on the show, but that's a great topic, though.
Thank you.
Wondering about what the Earths kind of dealt with in doing their legislation they did in the town there. And it's probably a great debate that's gone on for 100 years already now.
Perfect.
And when I look at it personally, I would say that they had already had encounters with these people. They've already harmed family members already. So, you're kind of like on edge already. You really don't want to give these guys that extra inch.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but on that, Gianluca, man, thanks for having me on the show, bro.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming to Arizona. California used to be okay. I grew up over there back in the day when you could keep a rifle rack in the back of your truck and go around and hunt and do the things you wanted to.
Wow.
It's not the people of California, it's the politics. And on that happy note, man, God bless Arizona and the United States of America.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you. That was Mel from Bullhead. And by the way, we got to go to watch his show. I'm really excited now. And I want to tell you, if you want to look into this ammo deal, it sounds really good. I'll give you one more time. His Facebook page is Mel Moore. Okay, M-E-L Moore, M-O-O-R-E. And you can see him. When you go there, Mel Moore, it's hard to miss. I mean, you got photo of him all dressed up like from the movies. He has a cowboy hat, but also you can see other photos. Really, it's like the marshal or whatever is the sheriff of the town. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So anyway, that's pretty much this part of the show. Now we got a few more minutes. I want to give you a break, and we come back some very important information. Do not go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. This is the hour about guns.
Don't tread on us.
Do you want social justice? Now I give you social justice.
The Zanna way.
Don't trade on us, the Freedom Rifle by Zanna. The most affordable military-grade semi-automatic AR-15 rifle in M4 configuration, chambered in 223 Wild, that can shoot both 5.56 NATO and 223 Remington. 4 minutes of angle for just $499, made in the USA. Get your Freedom Rifle now. We need every law-abiding American armed with knowledge and at least one military rifle ready to defend good against evil. With every Don't Trade on Us rifle, you will get free parchment replica of the United States Constitution, free digital CD Don't Trade on Us, free ebook How to Become a Rifleman, free t-shirt Slaves Are Never Armed, I Am Not a Slave, free 30-round magazine where allowed by the law, free laser engraved ejection port Don't Trade on Us for just $499. Go to www.freedomrifle.com, www.freedomrifle.com. Get your Freedom Rifle now.
Here we go back into the studio. This is the final part of the second hour. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. This is the hour about guns. As I mentioned before, some news updates I'd like to share with you. Just last week, I received in the mail the confirmation and the official license. I hear this word, license. Yes, but it is. Gun manufacturing license by the ATF. So what does it mean? That, finally I broke down. About a few months ago, I said I want to become a gun manufacturer, and also I can sell guns. this happened after, of course, Trump got elected. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a Trump, that things, unfortunately, are not just with Trump. Of course, we have much better chance to have hope, at least with Trump. I mean, right now would be probably running to the hills if it was Hillary there, okay? But anyway, the point is, I see there is a better environment. It's still the federal government, don't get me wrong, okay? There's still agencies that, in my opinion, they are unconstitutional, but at least, hey, this is the game, okay? I wanted to become a gun manufacturer, I want to sell guns, so I follow their book, I follow their rules. As much, I believe that it's not right, but this is not the place to argue. I just follow the rules now. But I think it's important. I really believe that I want to give as many guns as possible to law-abiding citizens out there. And that's the way to do it. So in this way, I can manufacture the Freedom Rifle. They don't tread on us. The Freedom Rifle. By the way, I already told you I got also the U.S. trademark for the name. So I'm pretty excited. And I can start to experiment to also create new products, new variation of this rifle. And I'm also starting the production of uppers. I'm very excited. So all I want to say, it's good to be in America. Even with all the regulations that we have, compared to the rest of the world, in this place, a regular guy like me, an immigrant, can barely speak English. I don't even know how to spell manufacturing. I just figured it out the other day how to write it down correctly. And I'm able to, some hard work, of course, just, apply myself to become a gun manufacturer. So I'm very humble, I'm very proud, I'm very excited. And I'll try to do my best. Whenever I do something, I always try to do my best. That's where I am. I'm trying my best. And I want to really, by the way, I want to remind you, if you're interested into the Freedom Rifle, they don't trade on us, the Freedom Rifle, now I can ship it directly to you, to your local FFL dealer, to your local gun shop. All you have to do is contact me, go to freedomrifle.com. You can buy the upper, you can buy the lower, you can buy both, okay? And follow the instructions, freedomrifle.com, and I can send you both items to your local dealer. For just $499, you can get a complete package of the Freedom Rifle. Comes also with a magazine, comes also with a rear sight, removable A2 type handle. You also get the t-shirt, Freedom Rifle. You also get a downloadable audiobook, the downloadable CD, and of course, lifetime warranty on the lower, and incredible upper. You check it out, okay? So that's what I want to say. And the price is amazing. The product is amazing. I mean, check it out, because I tell you, watch the videos. I spend a lot of time producing these videos. They're simple videos, nothing fancy, but the idea to show you how this rifle works. How resistant, how strong it is. And the lower has been also improved. Now, all my lowers, they are Plum Crazy Generation 2, but I also improved the lower with a little bit of, you will see, the buffer tube, okay? It's also now made of metal. Before it used to be plastic. And still, it used to work pretty good, no problems, but now it's even better. And don't forget, you have lifetime warranty on the lower. That's pretty amazing. All that for $499 and free shipping. Anywhere is allowed by the law. So, I can ship to the 48 states for free. Of course, Hawaii, you can't get anything. I'm sorry. As Alaska, we got to talk about it with the shipping. But for the rest, all the other 48 states, of course, let's not forget the other states like California. But if you live in a decent state where AR-15 are allowed, guess what? You got free shipping. freedomrifle.com. So that's the spirit. Don't forget also about my CCW classes. Next Wednesday, let me check exactly which day. I have also another event. It's even better. It's completely free for everybody. It is the 29th on Wednesday in Golden Valley at the Mojave Sportsman Club. I have a free gun safety class. And not because they are free that they are like kind of, I just give you a little bit of time. No, I give you more than 2.5 hours, 3 hours of great information. And even if you do not have a gun, this is exactly the perfect class to learn how to be responsible and safe in case you get in touch with a gun. Even if you hate guns, you should get this probably even more. So at least you can help out other people out there in case you see things that are not right. So that's the idea. So if you want to go to attend my class, the one that I just told you, the 29th of Wednesday, go to, what is the name of? freegunsafety.com, freegunsafety.com. Otherwise, just send me an email, zanna@zanna.us. All right, pretty much this is for the second hour. Oh, by the way, short note, I do CCW classes. I also offer free classes for single mothers. There was a school, a firearms training institute in Bullhead, that after I posted my free gun safety class for single moms on one of these message boards on Facebook in Bullhead, this person attacked me like, oh my God, how dare you to do free stuff? You try to take advantage. She got the first post was pretty nasty. Then she changed it and she made a little more, very tacky, by the way. She started to advertise about her school, and that's fine. I also said, by the way, I want you on my show. If you have something you don't like about me, come on my show. I give you free airtime. I'm not even going to charge you. This lady, she never really wrote me back, and she never come on my show. But all I say, guys, all I'm trying to do here is try to give some education to people like single mothers. They have children at home. Maybe they don't even have the money to do this, and I'm trying to help them out. If you're so desperate for business that you feel threatened by me just because I'm giving a free class to single mom, it's pretty sad. Business must not be that good, okay? Because I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody. I believe in free market. I believe in competition. And yes, I also pay my time and my resources to help single ladies who cannot afford, to have a CCW class, especially when they have, children at home. That's my right to do that. But you're still welcome to be on my show, by the way. I don't know why you're running from me, okay? I have no problems with you guys. I wish you the best. All right, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna, ready for our number 3. Do not go away.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.fm network.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
Hello, you have reached the Phoenix office of Senator John McCain. Due to the high volume of calls we receive, the Senator's voicemail can at times fill it faster than your comments can be recorded. Because Senator McCain wants to know of your concerns, and if our voicemail is full, please feel free to visit his website at www.mccain.senate.gov and click the contact link to share your comment. Our Arizona office locations and fax numbers can also be found on that webpage. If you are calling to invite Senator McCain to an Arizona-based meeting or event, please email our scheduler at az_scheduler@mccain.senate.gov. If you are calling regarding casework or for any other inquiries, please leave your name, number, and a brief message after the tone. Thank you.
Okay, this is luca-zanna from the radio show Love, Guns, and Freedom. It's very simple here. Senator McCain, I know you will get this message. First of all, since we are paying big bucks there to have people working at your office, that would be really nice somebody answers and do not treat us like a bunch of slaves just leaving a message. Point 1. Point 2, we are very sick and tired to being sprayed like roaches here in Arizona and, of course, the rest of the states by this geoengineering, weather modification, / chemtrails, whatever you want to call it. I know you were making fun of Senator Kelly Ward that she believes in chemtrails, but I got news for you. I mean, the CIA director Brennan admits stratospheric aerosol injection, also called weather modification, chemtrails. So do not treat us like a bunch of idiots. We know the truth. And stop killing us with this poison. you need to speak up for us. I know that you're pretty much paid off probably by some corporations, I guess, or for sure you don't give a damn about us. But guess what, Senator McCain? You still work for us. This is our tax dollar. Please, I would love a call back. I really would. And I will give you the phone number, okay? 928-263-0071. Please give me a call back, or at least some of your office. You get paid pretty well to answer to the phone. Give us a call back because we have a serious concern about weather modification. Thank you very much. This is luca-zanna, and by the way, this message will be broadcast on the air. You like it or not? Thanks. Great. Useless. All right. That was the magnificent Senator McCain office. That, of course, nobody answers. Now, let's try the other office with the other useless person, a senator called, what is his name? Senator Jeff Flake. Oh, my God. My brain, tell you, aluminum up my butt. That's what I have today. 602-224. Let's see here. 4. What the heck? No, make a mistake. Sorry. 602-840. You see, I'm already completely gone. 840. I'm not kidding. We are breathing so much aluminum here. 1891. 1891. I'm getting stupid completely. Okay. Let's see now. Senator Jeff Flake.
Hello, thank you for calling Senator Flake's office. How can I help you?
Thank you very much for answering, first of all, because, I just called Senator McCain and nobody answered, so you got a good point there. My name is luca-zanna. Thank you very much, from the radio show Love, Guns, and Freedom here in Mojave County, Arizona, and I would like to leave a message for our Senator Flake. Okay, you please take notes if you can.
Yes.
Very good. Are you familiar with the word weather modification, geoengineering?
I am not.
Okay, something you should do because you breathe the same air too, just to let you know, so you, your family. Just to let you know, the former CIA director, Mr. Brennan, on video, at the video Council of Foreign Relations, admitted that the U.S. government is allowing to do, and also is being part of this weather modification. That means they spray chemicals and metals in the sky to try to fight global warming. At least this is the official version, okay? Now, the point is, regardless what you know or whatever you think, Senator Flake, he must be informed, and I'm sure he already knows, that this weather modification, called also chemtrails, it's happening. It's been happening for a while, but the last few years, and especially the last few months, especially here in Arizona and Mojave County, they're killing us. There are so many spraying, so many, we cannot even see anymore the blue sky. And we do not even need to be scientists or have some sort of a degree, because we can see it, we can breathe it. People are going to the hospital with serious respiratory consequences. So the point is, I'm trying to make here, for yourself too, you're still a human being, you still live here, breathe here, believe it or not.
Right.
Let Senator Flake know that I will give you my phone number. I would like to get a phone call back or something, that they are killing us. This geoengineering weather modification admitted on video by CIA Director Brennan. It is real and it's happening, and we cannot take it anymore. We are tired, especially in Mojave County, but everywhere in Arizona. Okay? So, can you give them this message to the senator, please?
Of course. And you said you wanted a response.
Yeah, I would like a response. Since I'm paying for the chair that the senator sits, and it works for us, I would like to know exactly what he knows about weather modification, geoengineering. Since this is official, we have several documents directly from the website of the Arizona website government, also from the federal government, and I can provide all this information on record. This is not a conspiracy. We have directly from government website, and more important, we have the latest video from former CIA Director Brennan admitting it. I know that Senator McCain was making fun of this. When Kelly Ward, for a moment, talked about that, not because I'm a fan of her, but that's another story. Anyway, please, what can I give you? My information to get an email back? Yes. Please, go ahead.
So, could I get your address?
Yes. Are you ready?
Yes.
My name is Luca, L-U-C-A, Zanna, Z as zebra, A-N-N-A, P.O. Box 6303, Kingman, Arizona 86401.
Could I get your email address?
Yes. Zanna, Z as zebra, A, N as November, N as November, A. Zanna at zanna.us.
And then could I get your telephone number?
Yes. 928-263-0071.
All right, and our office will get back to you as soon as possible.
Perfect. Can I leave another message for the senator?
Of course.
Please tell him to stop wasting paper because, you know, I like trees and I hate when I see wasted paper. Stop sending him a request for money because all I send them back is a penny. Okay? Because so far his performances are very poor. And, of course, that doesn't mention anything about what they're doing to us with this weather modification. So I don't want to waste paper since we are paying for the paper. Please, in my address, say, do not send any more solicitation of money because you're just wasting paper.
Okay.
Thank you, darling. I appreciate it, okay?
Thank you for calling.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. There was Senator Jeff Flake call. I'm on the roll. I'm going to do them all. Now, what we got here? Oh, how are you? Oh, Gozer. Oh, Gozer. Where is Gozer? Let me get Gozer here. Oh. Meanwhile, let me go to a local one. Let's see, Sonny Borelli. 602-526. Let me call him now. 602-526. No, excuse me, 602-926. You see, this aluminum in my brain is really burning my brain. 5051. Let's see. You already know the story. I'm sorry, Sonny Borelli, but you need to hear one more time. Because I'm really sick and tired that we are taking it here and nobody's doing anything. I'm not going to die without a fight. Hello? Hello? Anybody there? I think they got my number down. Well, nobody's answering. We'll try later a little bit. Okay. Let's try it one more time right now. I'm not going to wait too long, okay? Here we go. Okay. Calling Arizona Senator Sonny Borelli at his, our office.
Hello. You have reached the office of Senator Sonny Borelli.
Yeah, right.
We're unable to take your call at this moment, so please leave a brief message with your name and telephone number, and we'll return your call as quickly as we can. Thank you.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Hello, hi, this is luca-zanna from the radio show Love, Guns, and Freedom. Message for Senator Borelli. Senator Borelli, we already know each other. Please, this is very important. They are killing us here with the chemtrails, weather modification. I know that you know the truth. I know that you don't want to talk about it. You think nothing you can do. Guess what? You have to speak up for us. This is on the open. All you have to do, look at the sky. The sun is gone. Okay, and people are going to the hospital. The last few months, we have so many people at the hospital with respiratory problems. If you don't speak up, I'm so sorry. You're really going to hell. Because the point is, you have the duty, the moral obligation to at least speak up for us. That's why we elected you. Okay, even people didn't vote for you, we still elected you. Okay, so please give me a call back if you can. I'd like to hear from you. 928-263-0071. This is luca-zanna from the radio show Love, Guns, and Freedom. I would like a call back from any of you guys listening because we have a serious problem. And just to let you know, CIA Director Mr. Brennan on video admitted that they're doing weather modification, spraying the crap out of us with metals to reflect the sun in our stratosphere. So much for a conspiracy directly from the mouth of the CIA director, okay? So they're doing it. I know, Sonny, that you cannot do anything technically, but you can speak for us. That will be a great start, and I will really appreciate it, okay? Regardless of our differences of opinion on some issues. Thank you very much. luca-zanna, I appreciate the call back. Thank you. Okay, there was a Representative Sonny Borelli. I'm calling them all. If a guy with an accent like me was even born here can do it, I think you can do better, guys, because they are killing us here, okay? Now I'm calling Jeff Flake. Let's see this Flake. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. I already called him. This is Gosser. Congressman Paul Gosser. 480-8. Oh, let's see. What is that? 2697. And we call him. This is the show. This is the radio show, Love, Guns, and Freedom. They're killing us, and we have to fight back. The first thing we're going to tell them, no. We're not happy. We're not happy. We're not taking it. And you politicians that we elected you somehow, and you work for us, you got to speak up. This is not an option. Okay? You're not doing us any favor. So, come on. Paul Gosser, let's see if he answers. Of course. Calling the Gold Canyon.
Hi, you've reached the office of Congressman Paul Gosser. We're not able to take your call. Please leave a message, and we'll return your call as soon as possible. Please dial 10 to leave a message.
10. I need to also dial 10. Oh, my gosh. I hate this. 1.
Your call is being transferred.
Yeah, transfer me. Hello? Calling Congressman Paul Gosser in his office in Gold Canyon. Maybe I should call Prescott. Let me call Prescott. Hello?
Hi, you've reached Congressman Gosser's office in Gold Canyon. We're not able to take...
Of course. I mean, what the heck? Everybody's... what are they doing, these people? I mean, it's business hours, almost 2 o'clock. Do they work part-time, I guess? Let me call this Prescott office. You know, Prescott sounds better. Let's see. 928-445-1683. I know it takes time. I know it's a pain, but we have to do it. Otherwise, they say, you didn't tell us anything. No, we're telling you right now. They're killing us. Like the Mother County downwinders. Probably they try to call. Some of them. Of course, I'm sure they were making fun of them. You know? Oh. Okay, dare you. Hello?
Can I help you?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is luca-zanna from the radio show Love, Guns, and Freedom. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good, very well, thank you. I would like to leave a message. I'm a constituent of Representative Congressman Gosser, and I have an important message to share with him.
Okay.
You want to take notes?
Yeah, I'm taking notes.
Perfect. Just to let you know, this part of the segment is going to be on the air here in Arizona, Mojave County, and on 1340 AM. Okay, the message is very simple. I would like to inform Congressman Gosser that the conspiracy, called also weather modification or chemtrails, is being also be proven by, CIA Director Mr. Brennan, just recently on video, admitting that the government is spraying particles of metals in the stratosphere to reflect the sun or whatever other excuse they told us to stop global warming. So much for the conspiracy. It's on the open. But more important, without even CIA Brennan director, they're spraying the crap out of us here in Mojave County and most of Arizona, if not all. And people are really getting sick. In Mojave County, we have a lot of people. They've been spraying since Christmas, no stop. And going to the hospital with respiratory problem. Whatever comes from the sky is going to come down. Whatever they spray on the air, they're going to come down. And if you look at the sky, I don't know if you're familiar, but they're doing an incredible job. And I've been sarcastic here. People are really getting sick. So I really hope, and I also say demand, since our congressmen are working for us, to at least to start an official investigation into this and to have an official speaking up for us. Because we're not taking it anymore. We are getting really sick here. Any question?
Okay. I'll certainly pass it on for you. What is your name again?
Yes, I would like also to have a response, please, in writing if it's possible, since we are paying for the paper. Can I give you my address?
Sure.
Okay, my name is Luca, L-U-C-A. Last name is Zanna, Z-A-N-N-A.
Okay.
Address, P.O. Box 6303, Kingman, Arizona, 86401. Or 4602, doesn't matter. And I would like to have an official answer. The subject should be weather modification, okay, solar management, chemtrails, whatever you want to call it. And just to give him a keyword, I'm sure he knows about it, CIA Director Brennan on Council of Foreign Relations meeting on video admits that they're doing it. We are doing it. I mean, our tax dollar is doing it to stop global warming. So I know that Congressman Gossa is pretty smart when it comes down to global warming. He knows that is a fraud, okay? At least we get along with that. But now we need to go all the way to the other side, too, to understand that what they're doing, it is very dangerous to us. Because also another thing, he was aware about the Mojave County downwinders. Many people are dead because they were doing experiments 50 years ago with the nukes. Guess what? Yeah. I don't want to talk about this 50 years from now when I'm dead. Because unfortunately, what they're doing to us today can have a really deadly consequences. Because metals being sprayed in the sky, for whatever excuse they give us, we are not machines. We do not breathe barium. We do not breathe aluminum. We are getting really sick. And this is also for you too and your family. You should all look into this, please, ma'am.
Absolutely. I'll pass that on for you, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. All right. And it keeps going on. I'm not going to stop today. I don't care. People say, why are you crazy? I want to listen to a radio show. This is the radio show. The radio show that they're killing us. Don't you get it? And I will use every second of the show to do everything I can to do my part. And what is my part? At least not giving up. I'm not going to be here taking it like a lamb. I'm not a lamb. I'm not here to turn my other cheek where they're stabbing us and poison us while we are sleeping at night. Not even at night, even during the day. Let me call now the new Paul Mosley, 602, Arizona Rep. A representative, Paul Mosley. Okay, the goody boys, 926-4844. That is so holy. Let's see what he's going to tell us about. Before the election, told us we was going to look into that. Of course, now he got elected. Let's see. Hello.
Representative Mosley's office. This is Shauna.
Hi, Shauna. Nice to meet you. My name is luca-zanna from Mojave County. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm all right. Listen, I'm here. Just to let you know, I'm broadcasting a show. It's called Love, Guns, and Freedom. By the way, Representative Mosley was also on my show a few months ago before the election. So just to let you know what we're doing here. We are recording for the show. Now, I have a message I would like to leave to our representative. Can I do it with you?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. I don't know if you're familiar with the word weather modification, geoengineering. Have you ever heard about that?
No.
Perfect. Maybe it's a new day to learn something new. Just to let you know, give him this message. CIA Director Brennan, okay, the former CIA director, the guy, this big spy guy, the former director that just got fired. I think he's gone, thank God. But anyway, just a few months ago on video, you can put it out on YouTube, and I will play on the show anyway, admitted it that we are using, our government is using weather modification, spreading this sort of metal particles, mostly aluminum and barium, into the stratosphere to stop the sun, okay, to stop global warming. Now, besides that, global warming is a fraud, but that's another story. We cannot agree on that. It doesn't matter. The point is they admitted they're spraying metals in the sky to whatever purpose. Now, I already been talking with Mr. Mosley before he even was elected. And the point is, this is on the open. You don't need to be a scientist. If you look at the sky, there are days that there is completely blue sky, like supposed to be in Arizona, and then they are completely spraying the hell out of us, crisscross so much that is called weather modification. And by the way, if people don't believe that, you can go to the Arizona website.gov and you can download a permit for $100 to do weather modification. So it's real. It's not a conspiracy. Now, what I'm asking here...
So like a chemtrail type of thing?
Is a chemtrail. They call it chemtrail, weather modification. They have different names. The bottom line is they're spraying the crap out of us in the sky.
Okay.
For whatever purpose they do, we need to know for sure. But more important, we are getting sick. That's the real message of today. People in Mojave County, East District, between Lake Havasu and here in Kingman and Golden Valley and Bullhead, these last few months since Christmas, we are going to the hospital with respiratory problem, lungs diseases, serious stuff never happened before. And the only thing we can connect, because this sky is completely polluted. I mean, I don't care, whatever it is not vitamin B. The sky, they're spraying white stuff all day long. Seriously, it is real. And he knows he has kids also, he has a family, and all of us, we should be looking into this. I understand the establishment trying to make fun of them, like they did with Senator Kelly Ward, but this is beyond politics. He needs to speak for us. We ask him to officially at least ask an investigation, regardless that if this is a jurisdiction or not, because I understand the sky belongs to the holy feds, but still, we still have, he is responsible towards us, as citizens, at least to speak up for us. So I'm begging him, please, tell him to start to look into this seriously, and I would like to have an answer from him in paper or whatever you want, in the mail, because we need to start to take action, because we are really getting sick. And this could be my last call. I mean, people are really getting to the hospital around here. I've been sick myself the last few months, and I need to do this, okay? You want my address?
What was your, was it Lucas?
Luca, L-U-C-A.
L-U-C-A.
A. As
Luca.
Luca.
Okay.
Last name is Zanna, Z-A-N-N-A.
And a good telephone number?
928 263 0071.
0071.
Okay.
And do you have an email?
Yes. Ready?
Yep.
Zanna, Z-A-N-N-A, at ZANNA.US. And I'll be happy to send him information again. But the point is, all he has to do is open the window when he's in the office, look at the sky, and look what they're doing. Anybody can see that when you have 100 planes in the sky during the day doing crisscross, zigzag, and curves above you, and the sky is supposed to be, according to the forecast, completely clear, and then you see that you're living like in Michigan with all clouds and fog, and the stuff is coming down, something doesn't add up. Then, of course, there are official documents from state, federal, BLM, different things, agencies. I can give you all the documentation you want. Starting from the video, on video, this is not like some funny movie, CIA Director Brennan, on video admitting it, that we are doing this to save us from global warming. I think the state of Arizona should have at least something to say about it. And wait a second, before you experiment on humans here, on our citizens, you need to let us know what you're doing, because I remind everybody when 50 years ago they were doing experiments with the Mojave Downwinders, that I'm sure you're familiar, when they were doing playing nukes in South Nevada. We have a lot of part of the population here that are dead, and now the congressman try to give them some few bucks for the little whatever it is for the charity for the tombs. But the point is, we are at the same level here. 20 years from now, we were wrong. Sorry. No, we want to say now, please. We want to know what's going on. So anyway, that's the message for our representative, please.
Okay, I'll let him know.
I appreciate it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you,
darling.
sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Here we go. Oh, my gosh, this is like a job. Okay, let's get another one. What we have here now? Oh, I think I'm done for today. Oh, wait. I think I'm done. I'm going to be done. You got the idea. You got to do your part. It's millions of us. A few of them working for us. If they don't hear from us, they will pretty much allow to do whatever they think they have to do. And I'm not saying that everybody's bad. Some of them may be ignorant. Ignorant means that they do not know. But at this time of the game, I don't think anybody is ignorant. Probably they're afraid, because after all, that's how the machine works. When you start to speak up about things you're not allowed to speak up, well, the first thing, they will make fun of you. They will make you look like crazy. I mean, Senator Kelly Ward, former Senator Kelly Ward, just because she came on my show, and we were talking about weather modification, and she even didn't agree that much, but, she was trying to somehow give us, at least for a moment, a show when we had this town hall meeting with the agency here in Arizona for the quality of air, ADQ. Just because she did that, Senator McCain, of course, tried to make her look like she was crazy. By the way, she didn't even wants to believe. She even didn't admit it. But that's what they do. They scare the hell out of you. Now my question is, your political career is more important than life of millions of people, and among those also your family, and the health of your family, of your countrymen. Because that's where we are. If you're so concerned about your political career, I'm here. I was here years ago, when most of the people used to make fun of me and few others like me. And I didn't care. And today there is no more excuse. Even a blind dog can see what they're doing to us in the sky with weather modification. Simple as that. So you politicians, you elected representative that you're working for us with our tax dollar, even if you cannot do something to stop this right now, you should have the moral and ethical obligation, in front of us, we the people, in front of God, if you believe in God, and in front of who's coming after us, and also to uphold your oath to defend this republic, to stop and speak up about weather modification and chemtrails, because this is not just about a funny word. They are completely killing us. Simple as that. All right. At this point, I need to take a break. I need a Zanna coffee. Don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. This is the final hour, and I'm telling you, I'm so freaking excited you have no idea. Listen, when I was a child, not even a child, grown up, teenager, I was into surfing. I love it to be free, especially when I was constrained in the freaking boarding schools and the military school. I was always punished, and my mind was free, though. I was always dreaming about open places, going to in the middle of the ocean. Guess what? When I finally ended the military school, I was able to say, screw you all, I'm out of here. And of course, I didn't continue the military career, and I jumped on the first airplane, and I started to travel the world. One of the places I really wanted to go was the South Pacific. I enjoyed the idea to go out there and almost utopistically go back to the nature, to a place that technology wasn't that part. So I went to French Polynesia and Marquesas Islands. I never really had a chance to go to see New Zealand the way I wanted to, because I just stopped years later with another story. But that's not the point. The point is I'm very fascinated about the part of the world. I love it. And the point is, though, then you grew up, I decided what I wanted to do when I grew up. And of course, I decided to come to America. And that's fine. And I'm very happy I did that. But what am I coming today? Guess what? I have a great friend from Facebook that she's been friend with me, I think, for almost a year now. And she's from New Zealand. And, I bring her here today because we've been talking the first part of the hour, what they're doing to us. And when I say they, the government is the face, but who is behind the government? The real hidden forces that they're plotting how to destroy humanity, how to enslave humanity through different things. One of that, we were talking before, weather modification / chemtrails. We are breathing crap all day long. We're getting sick. They try to push on us vaccines. And people say, or maybe may think, this is just something happening in the evil USA. Guess what? It's happening everywhere. Even in the most beautiful, probably so far away part of the world, like called New Zealand, in the middle of the ocean there. They're spraying the crap out of them. They're doing whatever they're doing. You want to call them weather modification, solar management, chemtrails, I don't know, but the point is bad. So they're doing there too. And that's why I wanted to bring her on. Because, I like to hear from her, a person that also is active. She cares about these things, and she's trying to learn always and share whatever she knows on Facebook. I would like to hear from her what's going on, learn a little bit. Because at the end of the day, no matter where you're from, if you're American, from Australia, from Africa, it doesn't matter. We are all under the same danger. That's the bottom line. They want to kill us. That's my humble opinion, but I'm behind that. Anyway, Tavia from beautiful New Zealand. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello. I will glorify you with my New Zealand accent and you can have a giggle.
I like that. I really like this New Zealand accent. That's great. Like mine, I'm a New Zealand accent too, you know that. Can you hear it? Mostly British, I would say, from Oxford. Talking about...
it's the sexiest New Zealand accent I've ever heard then.
Listen, darling, I'm so excited that finally we can talk like human beings and friends, that normally always behind this Facebook. And that's great. I tell you, as much as I know Facebook is a control system to know what we're doing, of self-confession, what I like about Facebook, we had a chance to connect and network, and that's why we're here. So that's beautiful. Now, first of all, before I go ahead, which part of New Zealand are you from? Where are you? Which part?
I was born and I currently live in Auckland, so in the North Island, up towards the top. And I grew up as a kid right up in the bush in the far north, and we have the most beautiful native forests here in New Zealand, and we're just absolutely blessed with an incredible array of native flora and fauna here that you don't find anywhere else in the world. So I was very lucky when I was 11. It was a bit of a traumatic incident for my mother, but for me it was great. We ended up north in the middle of the bush with no power and no phone, and just absolutely stunning, and had all my animals and my pets. So my mother's still in the far north with a massive organic property where they work really, really hard to bring back the native birds, native species there. They have a covert on the land, so it's actually protected because of the species that are found there that are quite rare. So I'm in the city with my children, and but I have that connection with the bush in the far north. I've travelled around quite a bit.
So right now you live
you
live in a big city right now, or whatever.
I live in the big city, on the edge of the big city. So I'm about 6 kilometres from the CBD, down on the shore.
Okay. So excellent. And now, right now, just to have an idea, because I know we have different type of seasons. For example, right now it's spring here. What do you have there? It's a fall? What type of?
Right now we're just a few days into autumn. So
Autumn.
our summer's just ended, but we actually haven't really had a summer here. This is probably our 3rd year without really a summer. We've instead of months and months and months of amazing, beautiful weather, we're like you. Today we're under a complete white dome with a massive sun halo. So we only get the odd beautiful days of full sun now. So yeah, like you say, an absolute global problem, same all around the world. But if we're going to talk chemtrails here in Auckland, it's really fascinating to me, and thank goodness for Facebook. They might be using it against us, but we're turning it around, and we're connecting, we're uniting, we're waking people up. And I probably wouldn't be awake to all of this if it wasn't for having this unique global view and seeing that it's just not normal. But interestingly, they very rarely ever do chemtrails over Auckland.
Question, Tavia. When did you start to, first of all, all of us, we had a moment that we didn't know what's happening. But out of the blue, we start to say, wow, look at the sky. This is not normal. Then we start to investigate, and then we start to find out the answers, at least some of the answers. How long ago that you realized that, first of all, these activities of airplanes spraying chemicals in the sky, for whatever reason they tell us, I don't know for sure why, they're telling us now weather modification, could be just many other things. But the point is they're doing it. When did you find out, and when you learned that it was happening there in New Zealand?
Well, I guess I'm a bit of a youngster to this compared to quite a few of the other activists that we have here. But for me, like I said, because we don't get active trails, they're very rare over Auckland. We get kind of chem bombs off the west coast that blow over us. And there's about 4 or 5 places in New Zealand that they actively do trail and grid the skies, but not in Auckland. So for me, I didn't see the chemtrails. For me, I see one, and it's horrifying. I can't imagine just living under a fully gridded sky. For me, it's chem crap and the odd trail. Probably about 5 years that I've been looking into it, investigating it, and a little over 3 years that I've been opening my big mouth about it.
So anyway, at least 5 years that you noticed this in New Zealand, right? I mean, because
it's only through the social media and Facebook, because alone each of us, we're in our little box. But as soon as you've got this global view, and as soon as I started seeing pictures posted from all around New Zealand and looking at other places here and thinking, hang on, Wanganui is classic. They seem to hit the west coast. So Taranaki and Wanganui, get hit quite hard with chemtrails almost daily, but for some reason they're not trailing over Auckland.
So they don't go over Auckland, but they go in the other part of New Zealand. Am I right?
Yeah, they've been doing it for many years over Wanganui, Taranaki, Christchurch, Nelson, Chemflu. But for some reason it's a very rare occurrence. I've actually only seen 3 trails over Auckland in all of my years living here. But the mess in the sky is not clouds.
I mean, do you have some sort of because sometimes, we start ourselves by alone, we think we are alone, and we start to look at this, they say, oh my gosh. And then you start to realize that more of us has the courage to at least admit it. Of course, there are always the sheep out there, the losers, that they're always going to say, nah, it's just vapor trail. You know why? Because they're a bunch of cowards. That's why I tell you, I come up with this conclusion. Not because they are stupid. There are some also really dumb. They drink so much fluoride and too many vaccines that their brain is explosive with mercury.
But I have to, I still, it makes me wonder because, I was fully vaccinated. We're definitely not like the schedule in America, but I was fully vaccinated up until a decade ago. My children were all vaccinated. Yeah. I honestly believed that doctors knew how to do their job, and they'd been trained properly, and they did the best for us. But I've been fluorided. I live in the city.
I've been fluorided.
I can't always afford spring water.
The point
and
is,
I can see it.
Exactly. But my point is, regardless what they're trying to do to us, there is a part of humanity, and that's what normally the global, the globalists, they have behind big psychologists. They know sociology. They know how the average human being thinks. When the human being out there, there is a part of them, it's not us, but there is a part of them, they're ready to completely ignore it because they know the moment that they admit it, it's too big, it's too scary, and they are too coward to even admit it because thereafter they have to do something. They don't want to be involved.
Exactly, and then you're in the rabbit hole because, as soon as you're going to open the door to something like chemtrails or vaccine safety, you've opened the door to an absolute labyrinth of insanity. And,
exactly.
It's a lot more comfortable to just
do nothing.
Play along.
Yeah. You stay home and you mind your business, you lock the door at night, close the windows and say everything is wonderful and the government is here to protect us. So shut up and don't complain too much. Otherwise, you're ruining my day. A bunch of slaves. That's what they are. But that's regardless. The point is happening. I'm positive. I know there is an awakening. It is not just in America. It's not just in New Zealand. It's everywhere. Italy. I mean, they are making terrible things in Rome. I have my mom. She came here to Arizona like 3 years ago, and she got almost sick. And then she came back home. And my gosh, she said, oh my gosh, they're doing it here too. My only point, I don't know exactly why. Because what they're now start to telling us, I played before the little audio of, I think I'm going to play it now probably. I didn't really play it. Well, I'm going to play it again just because of this former CIA director, Mr. Brennan, top scumbag that we have. And and the point is, probably you watched the video, he's admitting it that what they're doing now is to try to stop global warming using this sort of chemicals and whatever they are, there can be a lot of things, aluminum, barium, that's what they're telling us now. But the point is, we don't really know. They can use nanotechnology. They can use, by the way, I heard that Australia, it was experimented, they were experimented, the Australian government, on vaccination, mass vaccination over populated area through vapor trails, or whatever.
Yes.
So they can do a lot of stuff. We have no idea.
They've certainly admitted doing it, and there's, plenty of documentaries and video evidence historically. I think Oakland was one place that was made very, very ill many decades ago. So, there's just so much evidence now that there has to be an awakening because it's in our faces. You just don't get any more blatant than having the sun blocked every day. It blows my mind.
Exactly. I mean, we don't need to be scientists. We don't need to have the university. All we need to say, wait a second, idiots, because I see these politicians, they start always to tell us, we got to go to the scientists and we got to get PhD involved, the universities. Wait a second, moron. We know what's going on because we have a brain. And even if these planes, they were just having gay time up there, and just because they had pilots, they were drunk and started to crisscross each other. Guess what? talking about pollution, talking about residual of JPL. You know, the jet fuel is cancerogenic, or whatever you call it in English. It's bad. Talking about destroying the ozone, that's bad. You know, these bastards, now they try to start to point out, now I'll play right now this short video of Mr. Brennan, the CIA, you know, top devil out there, say, oh, we need to do this to save them from global warming. They are creating global warming, these bastards. Let me play 1 second this way. This is 1 second.
Okay.
This is disgusting. I just played already, Paul. I forgot. I got too much aluminum in my
Example
brain.
is the array of technologies, often referred to collectively as geoengineering, that potentially could help reverse the warming effects of global climate change. One that has gained my personal attention is stratospheric aerosol injection, or SAI, a method of seeding the stratosphere with particles that can help reflect the sun's heat in much the same way that volcanic eruptions do. An SAI program could limit global temperature increases, reducing some risks associated with higher temperatures.
1 second. Are you there? Are you are you noises from the kitchen or whatever you're doing there in New Zealand? Are you cooking some I don't know, some kangaroos? What are you doing there? Okay.
I'm just rinsing my coffee cup. I'm just having my beautiful thick black coffee of the day. Very important.
Oh my gosh, that was fun. Anyway, you got the idea. This is a CIA guy, top guy, in the devilish meeting of the Council of Foreign Relations that is a meeting about geoengineering. They're admitting what they're doing. And, you know, made me feel really astonished when I see local politicians here in Arizona, like we had, you know, many of them. I talked already about them before. They completely ignore it. They think it's just a conspiracy. And they don't even want to say, but wait a second, it's here. They're telling us, they're doing it to us. Now, this is the official version. Now it's coming out. And it's still bad enough because we need to be informed. They should ask our permission. Maybe we don't want to breathe this crap. I mean, maybe if really the global warming was real, I would probably be better off with global warming. They have in my lungs, your lungs, and all the dirt full of these metals that they're never going to go away. I mean, aluminum and barium. You know, whatever stays in the sky is going to fall down, okay? Even a kid can understand that.
At the end of the day, you know, like you say, we're not scientists. We're just looking up going, what the hell? This isn't normal. The weather's changed. The sky's changed. We're seeing water tests, rain tests, snow tests from all around the world that are just way over the limit, toxic levels of aluminium, barium, strontium. You know, and I've seen those tests here in New Zealand as well. You know, even for somebody who's not scientific like me, if you're going to create a dome like I'm sitting under today, all that's happening is that's holding the heat in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
we're living in this sticky, humid, white dome. It's not releasing any of that. And not only that, but the highest levels of CO2 create the lushest planet.
Exactly. I mean,
there's nothing wrong with CO2. It feeds the greenery and they feed us. So
it's life.
To have this whole carbon dioxide thing going on is just, it's blowing my mind. It's like they could just put it in the newspaper one day that oxygen's bad for us and everyone's going to believe it.
Exactly. This is exactly the truth. This is exactly what they're doing. You know, they try to completely, just because it comes from some sort of authority out there, the government telling us one thing we're supposed to believe. Like tomorrow they can say, by the way, the sky is not blue, it's pink. And it's true, by the way. It is no more blue, the sky. That's a fact. Especially, you know, after they spray. Now, very important thing. It is not just about weather modification. It's also about other things they're doing to us. And really, in the last few years, they are pushing it hard. For example, the last couple of years, there is a push in America, in the United States, at state level, like California and many other states, and of course also federal level, they are trying hard to do mandatory vaccinations. We know very well.
Here's the crap out of me.
Yeah. I mean, this is serious because they're trying to force you. This is like almost going to a concentration camp. Say, shut up, and we're going to test on you, okay?
Well, this is a blatant and utter loss of our basic human right to medical choice, to medical care, to education, and to welfare. And they're removing our very, very basic human right to medical choice. And you know, I've been watching this in America mostly. You know, lucky people can speak out, but the medical kidnappings and the enforced vaccinations, the enforced chemo, it is really shocking. And to have it happening now in Australia, and you know, we've found out that the PM of Australia, him and his wife have huge shares in the pharmaceutical industry that are selling these vaccinations.
Yes.
And it doesn't take an expert. Today things are different a decade ago, but now everybody's got a smartphone in their pocket. Everybody's got access to the internet. Today, ignorance is a choice.
Exactly.
What you
true.
believe is a choice. If you don't want to research, it's your choice. But today, it does not take an expert to go in there and find the research that shows that where vaccinations are mandatory and the full schedule is followed in places like California and Mississippi, you have the highest rates of SIDS, autism, respiratory disease, skin disease, autoimmune disease, neurological disease. It doesn't take an expert to find that. It's in the newspaper.
Remember also that other beautiful piece of human being, I'm being sarcastic here, like Bill Gates, okay? On video.
God.
I mean, he tell us, oh yes, we want to do depopulate the population. That in his equation, one of the things he want to do to remove is going to be people. And how you do that? Oh, he loves vaccines. It's one of the best things. And I'll play that video again. I mean, this stuff is happening.
It stands up in a TED talk and announces it to the world that, we're overpopulated, but through careful use of vaccines and healthcare, we can remove 10 to 15% of the population just like that. And everybody's still going, oh, God, vaccinate me.
Yeah, and not only that, but an attitude if your son is not vaccinated. That's the scary thing, That's the scary thing. If you're not vaccinated, I mean, they're going to get mad at you. And I always say to them, excuse me, if you are vaccinated, it means you're safe, right? So mind your business and keep walking.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
And that's kind of one of the really strange aspects of it. There's so... to me as well, it's just another topic for division. Everything is about dividing the people, whether it's colour, whether it's race, whether it's religion, whether it's now your sexuality, your beliefs, even division between people that'll eat McDonald's, and they're naming people who eat healthy food crazy names like it's a disease. It's about division, and it doesn't matter where it is, vaccines, GMOs, glyphosate, chemtrails, anything. If you follow the money, it all comes back to the same 6 families or 12 families, whatever it is. Just follow the money and it answers every question every time.
Exactly. Question is there an awakening in New Zealand? Finally, people, getting it and start to organize, even like with peaceful protests, start to talk to your, doesn't matter what type of politicians, the local politicians, your form of government, but are people getting involved? What do you see there?
Yeah, what I see here is really this very similar to what I'm seeing overseas, although in New Zealand I think it is a little bit slower because, like I said, we don't see the full trails. We don't see the military planes. There's only a handful of places in New Zealand that they've been blatantly spraying with non-commercial aircraft for a long time. So for us here, it's a little bit harder. They're sort of like, I don't know, I guess they're chem bombing off ships off the coast or off the east coast. They're spraying off the the west coast, and it comes over us. So if you don't really know what you're looking at, and for me, I look at the sky and I go, well, we've got 10 different colors. We've got 10 different textures. We've got clouds that are dripping.
Wow.
We've got fibers falling. It's kind of a little bit slower and harder here because of their lack of the blatant chemtrailing. But it's very similar to what I see in America. We definitely have quite a lot of us that are big mouths. I did get friendly with a peer. I've just finished 7 years of study, which is why I really get into this and open my big mouth, because I've just qualified as a naturopath and a nutritionist and a medicinal herbalist. And,
oh, great.
And I'm thinking, I'm going to have people in and give them vitamins and minerals or whatever, look at their diet's deficiency. But to me, it just feels like putting a Band-Aid on. It's the fluoride, it's the aluminium, it's the barium, it's the strontium, it's the vaccinations, it's the glyphosate.
Yes.
And unless I speak up about that, I feel like I'm a fraud.
But you know what?
But there was a girl that I got to meet,
yes,
and she was very, very vocal about this. And she said that it got to the stage where she literally couldn't get in her car and drive down the road without being stopped and being given a fake speeding ticket.
Wow.
So she was actually harassed right out of any kind of speaking up. But we've got, it is slow, but we've got a government at the moment that's hell-bent on absolutely poisoning the country. We've got 1080 indiscriminate, massive drops from helicopters all through our bush, in our rivers. So they've been doing this for years now with 1080, with the national government. They've removed all the funding from our environment. Our Minister of Energy and our Minister for Conservation are both horrific jokes. They're sellouts. They also, you follow the money.
Let me ask you a question.
So
Tavia,
it's
let me ask you a question.
slower and harder, but there's a lot of us big mouths.
Good. Let me ask you a question. First of all, you say something important right now. We try to get all these vitamins, supplements, and things. It's like to put a Band-Aid on cancer. But at the same time, whatever now we can keep our body stronger and try to detox, the real problem, we must stop the source. I understand. But
we have to stop the source. And,
yes.
I can't. I just don't. I also have children. And number one, what I am is a mum.
Yeah.
Before anything else, that's what I do. That's what I've been. That's who I am. I'm a mum. And, and then trying to be a natural healer. In both of those, it just feels absolutely fraudulent for me to not say anything.
This is honestly, this is part of the package. When you're a naturopath, you know what's going on, and it's part to inform your patients or your clients what's going on. I think it's more than normal, in my opinion, and that's how we can win this battle with education. We need to try to educate people. Only in this way we can somehow get enough people and reach critical mass. Question now. This is exactly why I wanted to bring you here, because what you're facing down there, we are facing it here, in Europe, in Italy, and many other parts of the world. So we need to really unite as Americans, as human beings, from wherever you are, and start to, regardless of our political ideas, but we got to wake up and say, they're killing us. That's the bottom line. They got to stop. We got to stop them. Question. What is your form of government? Do you have still a crown? Are you under Commonwealth? Is the Queen your supreme leader?
Yeah, the Queen is still our Queen. The Queenie is still our Queenie. Doesn't kind of affect us too much, but, historically it does.
Yeah.
Obviously, the indigenous people were not treated well, and it's kind of gone from there. So, yeah, we're not unique or different. We've got the same problems all of you have. We've got handfuls of people. We've got some real grassroots movement with permaculture and organic properties. Organic's really big here.
Let me ask you a question, because I'm almost out of time, and this is something for me very important, because when you say the Queen is still the Queen, and I don't know your ideas, and if I disrespect you, offend you, I'm sorry. I'm not doing this to you. But for me, any human being who pretends to be above others just because birthrights we're supposed to bow down, I have a big problem with that. And I'm kind of, I don't want to use the word anarchist. I just am for freedom. And if that means, I don't want to be ruled, especially from somebody that they think to be above me just because they were born. So, I'm sorry when I hear these things that there is still a queen or a king in this world. Because after all, as much as it seems like a symbolic of things, it's very big, in my opinion. It's a pretty big deal that I need to bow down in front of an old fart, okay? I mean, that's for me out of there. But anyway, as I said,
I absolutely agree. And, although I'm a quite old-fashioned, old-school girl, and, I'm not young, and, I can kind of get the romantic idea of a king and queen and castle and princesses and things, but not one that's sitting on a golden throne holding billions and billions of dollars while her own people starve.
Yeah.
That's just despicable, and that's not something that any of us should be looking up to. She has the ability to change things. And she's not.
Let me tell you.
To me, she doesn't deserve any respect at all.
Exactly. So let me end up this conversation. I want to have you again one more time, and anytime you want, you're more than welcome. Now let me play this little bit of a song that probably would get me arrested if I was there. 1 second. Here we go. 1 second. Here we go. This is "Goddamn the Queen" by luca-zanna. I know this already been banned in England, this channel. And maybe now in New Zealand, they're going to have me a welcome party next time I come there. Listen, darling, I'm going to talk to you again, okay? All right. This was beautiful. From New Zealand. And Tavia from New Zealand, I really appreciate your friendship. And this is a message for the Queen of England and any other kings out there.
Hey there, Master Gotcha.